He is a transmigrator. In his past life he died of cancer. After transmigrating to this world, he became a stray child in an unfamiliar rural village. An old man passing by took him in and made him his grandson. He thought he had finally found a home. He thought his life would continue peacefully from then on. Unexpectedly, 2 years ago, the old man suddenly disappeared without a word. She left only a note and a passbook with 100,000 yuan in savings. Then she went back to her so-called sect. Now Jiang Chen doesn't know what happened to that old man. At this moment, several loud banging sounds suddenly came from the hallway. It was already 2 a.m., yet it was still so loud. Jiang Chen was about to go out and curse at the inconsiderate person. Before opening the door, he leaned in close to the peephole to take a look. It turned out to be a girl. I saw her knock on Sister Hong's door next door. She was knocking so forcefully. It must be something urgent. I was about to call Sister Hong to notify her, when I suddenly saw the woman bizarrely crouching at the door. She hoarsely whispered into the peephole, "Open the door, I know someone's inside." Now we're in trouble. Realizing that this woman was either mentally ill or a psychopath, Jiang Chen quickly sent a secret message to Sister Hong. He notified her that there was a dangerous person at the door. Sister Hong replied immediately, The thing at the door is not human." At this moment, Sister Hong, who was home alone, was already terrified. She was then spotted by the person outside, and she pretended to be absent on purpose. He started banging on the door with his head fiercely. It made a loud banging sound. Through the peephole, Hongji had already seen the person's face. It was Liaowen returning. The name sounded familiar to Jiang Chen. He thought for a long time amidst the knocking sound and finally remembered. She was the victim of last year's sensational monitoring sand case in Jiangqing, a thug who called himself the Little Overlord of Jiangbai from the beginning of the year. He targeted the young and beautiful Liaowen. After reaching out with his dirty hand, he scratched her face when she resisted. He even chased Liaowen all the way into this building. He violently slashed her skin with a knife, then he directly stabbed her heart. Throughout the whole process, Liaowen kept knocking on doors and begging for help, but the little tyrant of Jianbei threatened, "Anyone who dares to interfere will be stabbed to death," so no one in the building dared to make a sound. What's even more infuriating is, after the Jianbei little tyrant killed someone, he actually called the police and claimed self-defense, exploiting a loophole in the law and only spending a few days in detention. However, something strange happened. 7 days later, the little tyrant died in detention, and his death was exactly the same as Jiaiwen's. It seems she's come back for revenge. Seeing that Sister Hong still wouldn't open the door, Jiaiwen sinisterly warned, "Then I'll just come in myself." She then extended a strand of hair into the crack of the door, and directly unlocked it. Seeing this, Jiang Chen, who lived across the hall, dropped his phone in fright. The noise immediately caught the attention of Liaowen outside the door. Before she could even turn around, she rushed towards the opposite side. She continued to knock on the door frantically. She even threatened, saying, "I've already seen you." Jiang Chen didn't expect to find himself in such trouble. He raised the baseball bat and entered a defensive stance, even taunted the female ghost. He believed his male yang energy would protect him. "I'm not afraid of her dark arts, but saying this is just to bluff myself. It doesn't affect the ghosts and monsters outside at all." At that moment, a system prompt suddenly sounded. "Detected ghost Leo. Demon transformation system activate." Jiang Chen looked at the interface that suddenly appeared in front of him, puzzled. Could this be the cheat he got after being late for a few years? The system prompted whether to consume 100 ghost energy to draw a demonization card to counter the ghost ticket. Jiang Chen thought he had just received 100 ghost energy as a login gift. Facing death, he could only take a gamble, so he directly clicked confirm. A lottery machine immediately appeared in front of him. He turned the lever. Sure enough, a demonization card appeared before him. The system asked him if he wanted to use it immediately, but by this time, the noise at the door had already disappeared. Jiang Chen decided to temporarily keep the card. At this moment, Liaowen had already given up on Jiang Chen. She continued to attack Sister Hong's house. Although Sister Hong had secretly piled heavy objects by the door, Liaowen still easily pushed the gap open. She reached in with one hand, constantly calling for help. Just as she was about to break down the door, she suddenly felt someone poke her shoulder. She turned around and saw it was Jiang Chen from across the hall. He was smiling and greeting her. Taking advantage of the fact that Liaowen had not reacted yet, Jiang Chen directly shut the door in front of her. Liaowen was instantly furious. How dare he shut the door in her face? She was shouting loudly outside. She insisted on twisting Jiang Chen's head off. Unexpectedly, Jiang Chen suddenly opened the door and invited her in. She couldn't resist the momentum. She fell flat on her face. At that moment, the system prompted a reward for knocking on the door, 5 ghost kai. Jiang Chen realized that as long as he could ghost to have emotional fluctuations, he could earn ghost. Then he didn't hold back. He immediately grabbed the female ghost and headed straight for the bathroom. Ready to build some rapport, he annoyed the female ghost so much that she nearly lost her mind. She threatened to kill him, but Jiang Chen told her to turn around and look behind her. The female ghost turned and saw herself in the mirror. She was immediately frightened out of her wits. She started crying in Jiang Chen's arms. "Brother, ugly is scared." Jiang Chen gently took her hand. He told her not to be afraid. I'll take you away from her. Saying this, he took her straight to the rooftop. Seeing no one around, he said to the female ghost, when you go first? But the female ghost couldn't bear to part with him. She insisted on staying to travel with him. Jiang Chen lied to her, saying he needed to stay behind to fight off evil spirits. After saying that, he sent her on her way. At that moment, the system notified him, knocking ghost jumping off the building, reward, 30 ghost energy. He thought this would be the end for Li Yaiwen. But to his surprise, the female ghost who fell from the building not only didn't die, but also developed a stronger love-struck obsession. Realizing that she had been tricked by Jiang Chen, she swore that Jiang Chen would not die a peaceful death. It seems this ghost monster needs to use its ultimate move, so she took out the only demon card of General Yin. She decided to fight to the death. As the demon card was activated, a tiger demon appeared behind Jiang Chen to assist. The system confirmed the demon card trial was successful. Obtain part of the monster's power within half an hour. Afterward, retain 10% of the body and demon power permanently. There is also a 1% chance of permanently inheriting a divine ability. And Jiang Chen's luck is really good. He randomly drew the divine ability King Tiger Roar. At this moment, a powerful demonic aura appeared above Jiangbai City. Jiang Chen only felt that his body was filled with power. Meanwhile, the female ghost downstairs had just crawled out of the car in an extremely bizarre way. She climbs up the building's outer wall. Just as she reaches the rooftop, she faces Jiang Chen's malicious smile. The female ghost just called him a scumbag. He rubs his hands together, looking guilty, and apologizes to the female ghost. Sorry, I just forgot this is the 12th floor. Sorry about that. Hurry, hold my hand. I'll pull you up. But the love-stricken female ghost below wants to take the opportunity to pull him down. She wants him to experience the thrill of falling from the 12th floor in a second. But after all, she's only been a ghost for a year. Her social experience is lacking. The moment she touched Jiang Chen's palm, the smell of burnt meat wafted up. The female ghost cried out in pain, desperately shouting for him to let go. But Jiang Chen only intensified his grip. He held her tightly in his arms, even said he'd never let go in his lifetime. As expected, you can't trust everything a man says. The next moment, he hugged the female ghost and jumped to the edge of the rooftop. He started playing the lift-up high game with her, all just to make her fall another meter. Then, like launching a cannon, he threw the female ghost down, but relying purely on physical attacks, couldn't kill the female ghost, so Jiang Chen infused his demon power into his body, and jumped down as well. He charged straight at the female ghost. At the moment of impact, a burst of golden light radiated around. The female ghost was instantly crushed into a meat patty, and she actually tried to use the surrounding ghostly energy to repair her body. Jiang Chen responded swiftly. He immediately used the divine technique King Tiger Roar. With a roar, he blew the female ghost into nothingness. At this moment, the system notified that the door-knocking ghost had been killed. Jiang Chen gained 99 points of ghostly energy, including the 110 points of ghostly energy he had earned earlier from capturing ghosts. Now I can draw 2 cards. But look at the damage on site. A huge hole was smashed into the ground. Before the property management arrives for compensation, Jiang Chen quickly sneaks away from the scene. But on the way back, he kept thinking, what did the evil spirit displayed by the demon system mean? Could there be an existence more terrifying than the knocking ghost? Just as he was about to head home and study the system, he heard the beautiful landlady mourning in his house. She thought Jiang Chen had jumped off with the female ghost to end it all. It wasn't until she saw Jiang Chen standing unharmed behind her that she excitedly gave him a sweet hug. That night he began studying the system. Recently, strange events had been occurring frequently in Jiangbai City. He suspected that even more terrifying ghosts would appear in the future. Thinking about the first time he used the system earlier, Jiang Chen decided to rely on the demon transformation system to become stronger. At least he wouldn't end up like the other victims, torn to pieces by ghosts. To gain the power of a monster as quickly as possible, he searched online for recent murders in Jiangbai City. The 3 victims were found thrown at the entrance of their homes, on stairways, and by the streets. The victims were all disfigured. It indicates that the suspect has an obsession with disfigurement. The knock-knock ghost is the perfect example of this. Jiang Chen looked at the location. He realized it was quite close to the school. He planned to go check it out tomorrow after school. After closing his laptop, he silently swore, I can't just wait for the ghost to come find me. Instead, I will take the initiative to find the ghost. The next day, Jiang Chen had just arrived at school when Yang Chen and Lin Yue stopped him. Both goddesses were talking to Jiang Chen at the same time. This immediately attracted the envy of a crowd of losers. Lin Yue and Jiang Chen had been childhood friends. Today she came to find Jiang Chen, especially give him a talisman. She reminded him to wear it close to his body and not take it off. The moment Jiang Chen took it, the demon energy inside him was disturbed. It seems this thing is truly top-notch and expensive. In response, Lin Yue directly skipped the price and said it was for his safety due to the unrest outside. She did not mention how high the price was at all. This made her good friend Yang Chen so angry that she dragged her away. She reminded her that Jiang Chen was just someone who ran into a ghost. Ordinary people would die. Not to mention your family's status in the extraordinary world. Just your family backgrounds alone make you two worlds apart. But at this time Lin Yue still tried to argue, saying it was just an amulet for an ordinary friend. But that fooled others, not Yang Chan, because it was clearly a warding amulet. It's priced at 2 million on the black market. But Lin Yue felt that Jiang Chen had saved her life. It's just this talisman. It was not a big deal. If it were not for Jiang Chen, she probably would have been sold off to some remote mountain village by now. But at this moment she still did not know that this talisman would soon come into use. Later Husong and Jiang Chen found 10 murder cases online. The next day after school, he took the initiative to find the ghost. As soon as he entered the neighborhood, he noticed that the environment here was filthy and chaotic, with a heavy ghostly presence. He quickly opened the demon transformation system to check his equipment. Currently he only had 2 demon transformation cards. He wasn't sure if that would be enough, but he was already at the door. The security guard in the community saw him standing at the gate, hesitating. Unable to resist, he asked who he was looking for. Jiang Chen pointed at the dark community and asked the old man, "Excuse me, which unit does Zhang Mimi live in?" The old man immediately closed the window and got off work. Just asking a name made him so excited. It seems this area is not simple. Jiang Chen carefully observed downstairs. Although there are many residents in the building, the area outside is very deserted. Everyone seems to be hiding inside, afraid to come out. He could still smell disinfectant coming from a building in front of him. Jiang Chen decided to go inside and take a look. He just arrived at the door of apartment 101 when he encountered a little girl eating noodles. Jiang Chen curiously asked her, "Why is the little girl looking at the hallway while eating?" Unexpectedly, the child suddenly widened her eyes and angrily told him to go away. "You scared my friend." Jiang Chen looked around, but there was no one else. The child said, "My friend was just here. You scared him off as soon as you came up." Hearing this, a chill ran down Jiang Chen's back. At this moment, an elderly person in the house heard the noise and came over. Seeing Jiang Chen outside the door, the old man asked him, "What are you doing here at this late hour?" Jiang Chen asked the old lady again, "Do you have a neighbor named Zhang Mimie?" He came to find Zhang Mimi. The old lady immediately shut the door and chased him away. Jiang Chen felt that the people in this neighborhood were so cold. Just about to go up 2 more floors to ask around, the old lady called out to Jiang Chen, who was walking inside. "Young man, if someone in the hallway asks you, 'I'm beautiful,' just ignore it and run away quickly." Jiang Chen asked in confusion why he should run. The old lady told him with a serious expression, "If you say she's not beautiful, that woman will go crazy and kill you. If you say she is beautiful, then she'll make your face look like hers." After saying that, the woman immediately closed the door and said no more. But Jiang Chen found this ghost quite interesting. There's actually an appease trigger mechanism. He had just walked toward the hallway. He sensed a trace of ghostly energy. This meant the vengeful spirit was upstairs. Jiang Chen hurried upstairs, but halfway up, he was startled by a body that suddenly fell down. He barely took 2 more steps when another person fell down. But this time it wasn't a corpse, it was alive. She's quite the stunning young lady. After the young lady crawled out of Jiang Chen's arms, she immediately grabbed him and ran. She also warned him not to speak if he wanted to stay alive. However, the young lady didn't take him through the stairwell. Instead, they both crawled into the utility shaft. Once confirming that it was hidden enough, the young lady took out a yellow talisman and began to perform a ritual, ignoring the fact that Jiang Chen couldn't breathe from being crushed by the heavy objects. After hiding the hole of the pipe shaft, she quietly reminded Jiang Chen, "This symbol can only conceal the life force of the living. If you do not want to die, do not make a sound." Then, accompanied by a strange laugh, the legendary Zhang Mimi appeared. She asked everyone, "Am I beautiful?" Then they made their way into the stairwell. After hearing Zhang Mimi's voice gradually fade away, the 2 of them escaped from the pipe shaft. Jiang Chen then realized that the girl who had been pressuring him was named Chen Shu. She specialized in handling supernatural events. Jiang Chen didn't dare to reveal that he was a newcomer with little experience. Chen Shu truly took him for a rookie. Worried that Zhang Mimi might return soon, she had told Jiang Chen to stick close to her if he wanted to survive. They had to find a way to get out of the building first, but as they were about to set off, they looked up and realized something was wrong. Zhang Mimi was hanging upside down from the ceiling, waiting for them to notice her. Then she strained her terrifying face and asked Jiang Chen, "I'm beautiful?" After asking, she gripped the knife tightly. She was about to attack Jiang Chen. At a critical moment, Chen Xu pulled out a golden talisman. She struck the female ghost a heavy blow. The weapon was knocked away. Jiang Chen, who was nearby, couldn't help but exclaim, "Amazing." But in the next second, Chen turned into a little ball and was sent flying towards them. "I can't help but praise you." In just 1 round, Chen Xu's true energy has already been exhausted. He told Jiang Chen to run now and call the police, but it was already too late. After picking up the weapon, the female ghost continued to question Jiang Chen. "Little brother, I'm beautiful." Jiang Chen disdainfully replied, "You're beautiful. Beautiful, my foot." But the female ghost can't tell whether this is a compliment or sarcasm. She thought Jiang Chen was praising himself and was about to act up. Seeing this, Chen Shu quickly shouted for Jiang Chen to run. You answered her question. She'll haunt you to death? Sure enough, the female ghost raised the knife and lunged at Jiang Chen. Jiang Chen, scared, ran while complaining. How can this female ghost be so uncultured? Running like this isn't gonna work. Suddenly, Jiang Chen stopped and grabbed the female ghost's hand. He reversed his grip and hoisted the female ghost, heading toward the room. Since the female ghost said she would make him beautiful and happy, then let's be happy together. The female ghost suddenly sensed something was wrong. Could this man be after her beauty? Is he trying to take advantage of her? Stinky hooligan. Jiang Chen, called a hooligan by a female ghost, is absolutely the first in history, but bad men are loved by female ghosts. He suddenly remembered he still had a knife. Why are you afraid of him? After closing the door, she took control. With a knife clenched in her mouth, she pounced on Jiang Chen. Since you love me so much, then become just like me. Realizing that teasing the female ghost might cost him his life, Jiang Chen decided to stop pretending. He took out the red demon card and got straight to the point, transformed into a red demon. A fairy red serpent immediately appeared behind him. At this moment, the system randomly selected a divine ability. Demonic serpent's great strength. Jiang Chen immediately felt his body filled with power. Kindly advise Ghost Sister, why insist on being so obsessed with appearance? But Jiang Chen, with his handsome looks, couldn't possibly know how malicious the gaze of others could be. Jiang Chen stopped the ghost girl's small hand from swinging the knife. He knew she lacked confidence in her appearance. He suggested solving it for her personally. As long as you remove all the tissue above your neck, no one will care about your face anymore. This is indeed a good solution. Might as well have just said to chop off her head directly. The mocked female ghost angrily threw the dagger. I didn't expect that with the Crimson Scales armor. Jiang Chen is now impervious to blades and spears. When the female ghost approached him, he emitted flames. She nearly burned to the bone. After retracting the Crimson Scales armor, Jiang Chen realized, even with a cheat he still got injured. This really is a great blade. The female ghost stood up and demanded he return the sword. Jiang Chen raised the treasured blade and swung it directly. I gave the female ghost the most thorough plastic surgery. Now no one will say she's ugly anymore. Meanwhile, the young woman outside, worried about Jiang Chen's situation, heard a loud bang from inside the house, pulled out her weapon and prepared to rush in to save him, but bumped into Jiang Chen, who was just about to come out. She learned that he had eliminated the ghost all by himself. Chen Shu suddenly felt that he was somewhat scary. Could he also be an extraordinary person? Unexpectedly, Jiang Chen said that he had never ridden anyone before. Alright, it seems like she was overthinking it. Then Shu sighed deeply. There are so many hidden experts everywhere now. It's normal that many talented younger generations do not understand the world of extraordinary people. Saying this, she opened a Hell app. Forgot password register. He introduced Jiang Chen. Nowadays, the Tao League and the Underworld are the two largest forces. The Tao League focuses on recruiting extraordinary individuals. The Underworld focuses on its own cultivation system. And this app is a task-taking system jointly launched by the two major forces. Complete tasks to earn points. You can achieve financial freedom within it. Jiang Chen quickly scanned the code to download and register. But now is not the time to study the app. They must leave here as soon as possible, because there is a ghost still hiding in this building, and from the ghostly energy, it might even be a high-level evil ghost. Unexpectedly, this was exactly what Jiang Chen wanted. He said with a righteous look on his face, "Wear pants that fit the size of your butt." After saying that, they immediately raised their knife and headed towards the high-level evil spirit. After all, there are still 18 minutes left for the demon transformation. It would be a waste not to use it. The two of them rushed straight to the 6th floor. As soon as they reached this floor, they smelled a strong disinfectant odor. It seems Zhang Mamie had a botched plastic surgery here. Then she turned into an evil spirit. The scene was also filled with copper coin red lines. These were all traps set by Chen Shu. She originally planned to ambush Zhang Mamie, but just as she was about to deal with her, another ghost suddenly appeared and ambushed her. No wonder she fell from the sky. Following the direction of the ghostly aura, Chen Shu guessed that the other ghost should be at the end of the corridor. The two of them pressed the doorbell of the room at the end of the corridor. They pretended to be police officers conducting an inspection, claiming it was for investigating a violent incident in the building. To do this, Chen Shu even specifically purchased a police badge from the Underworld app. The phone then transformed into the corresponding item, successfully helping them gain access to the room. Once inside, they discovered a family portrait on the wall. After learning that the child was also at home, the two of them insisted on checking under the pretext of a routine procedure. At first, the woman was suspicious. How could an 8-year-old child be involved in a violent incident? But the two officers insisted on checking. The woman had no choice but to go into the room and call the person over. During this time, Chen Su shared her information. She had previously asked the neighbors in the building. They said there's also a strange person besides Zhang Mia. Many people have seen him. A little boy eating something in the corner. And it's said that the boy lives on the 6th floor. The two were whispering to each other. Suddenly, the woman appeared out of nowhere. It turns out her son wouldn't come out. She told the two officers to go in themselves. After seeing the child, the two of them realized that the child seemed quite normal. They even asked him why they were there. Cheng Su claimed to be his mother's friend, here to visit him. Unexpectedly, the child asked them back, "Are you talking about that woman outside? She's not my mother." But the family photo outside was the best proof that they were mother and son. But the boy refused to change his story. He insisted he wasn't lying because the woman wasn't his real mother anymore. Then he told his older siblings what really happened. That night, Mom was washing her hair in the sink and suddenly wanted an apple. She asked her husband to peel it for her. I didn't expect him to be in such great form today. None of them broke. He hurried to show off to his wife. His wife was still normal at this time. She took the apple and was about to eat it. But then something strange happened. The boy clearly saw his mother eating the apple outside the mirror. But the mother in the mirror was still washing her hair. Frightened, he hurried back to his room. He didn't know what happened afterward. But from that day on, his once gentle and virtuous mother never cooked for him again. In order to survive, he had to go downstairs and ask his friends for leftover food. He would eat it in the corner of the hallway before returning home. After hearing the boy's description, Jiang Chen also thought of an urban legend. The legend says that at midnight, if you peel an apple completely in front of a mirror, without breaking the skin, a mirror ghost will take over your body, stealing your life. Thinking of this, Jiang Chen immediately suggested going to the sink to check. But when they got there, they discovered the mirror on the wash basin has vanished. It seems the mirror ghost is behind this. Just as the two of them were thinking how to reveal her true form, they suddenly heard a woman shouting from outside the house. "Dinner's ready. Comrades, stay and have dinner with me." That's odd. Didn't the child just say her mother doesn't cook? The two of them had no choice but to go out first and see what to do. But when they stepped outside, good grief, this extravagant banquet almost made Jiang Chen puke. Seeing that the two of them were hesitant to start eating, the woman looked grim. She asked if the food didn't suit their taste. Jiang Chen said it looked a bit too plain. The woman immediately offered to make something else for him. Jiang Chen immediately asked her to make a bowl of strawberry stewed pig kidneys. He also requested that the pig kidneys not be cleaned too thoroughly. This taste even disgusted the mirror ghost. The system immediately added 20 ghost auras to Jiang Chen. Now it's clear who the ghost is. After achieving his goal, he quickly stopped the older sister. He said he was joking. Then he changed to an ordinary home-cooked dish. 9-turn horse. I didn't expect that eldest sister's house really had this ingredient. 5 minutes later, a fresh red stewed eyeball was served on the table. Seeing that Jiang Chen liked the original flavor, she specially cooked it to medium doneness. Jiang Chen looked at the eyeball in the bowl and swallowed. He actually put it in his mouth. Seeing him chew the eyeball frantically, Chen Su beside him suspected he was a ghost too. After a few chews, he frowned and spat it out. "You call this ripe? It's as old and tough as a golf ball." Sure enough, the angry ghost cursed in his heart. Jiang Chen gained another 30 ghost energy points. He continued to criticize the eldest sister's cooking skills. Seeing that the eldest sister had already started gathering ghostly energy, Jiang Chen grabbed her by the shoulder. He said he would give her another chance to perform. She should prepare a simple, bold young boy. It just so happens that they had the necessary ingredients at home. She only needed to strip the clothes off and cook him in boiling water. Just cook it about medium rare. Such a disgusting way of eating. Not even the mirror ghost has seen before. This made her realize that the man in front of her was just trying to provoke her. Finally, unable to control her anger, her true form appeared. As expected, she was a top-tier evil spirit. She got angry after just a couple of jokes. Jiang Chen suggested, "Why don't you fight back?" Her ghostly energy surged to 20 and she even started swearing. Seeing this, Jiang Chen stopped pretending. He used the crimson barrier to prepare to bind the female ghost. I didn't expect the enemy to be able to break the move with bare hands. By the time Jiang Chen reacted, the female ghost was already face to face, using her ultimate move. It instantly caused a dizziness effect. Seeing this, Cheng Su quickly covered the little boy's eyes. She told him not to make eye contact with the female ghost. As the female ghost saw that Jiang Chen was easily controlled by her, it was now her turn to be arrogant. She held Jiang Chen in her grasp, wondering how he'd act so bold now. At this moment, Jiang Chen's head was about to split open. Fortunately, at the last moment, he attached the crimson scales to his eyes. Otherwise, he would have been finished here. At this point, Jiang Chen's hands had already started to gather power, preparing for a quick resolution. With one move, he threw 2 giant forces at the female ghost, but the giant's strength and speed couldn't keep up at all. The female ghost easily dodged and then looked at Jiang Chen with a teasing expression. She saw slyly. He asked her in return, "Guess why I'm called double giant strength?" The female ghost turned her head. Sure enough, there was another giant force coming from behind. It surrounded her completely. She was suffocated to the point that she regretted coming to this world. It looked like the female ghost was about to be crushed by the giants. The entire body was split into 2 halves. Surprisingly, it hadn't disintegrated yet. At this moment, Cheng Su reminded him to be careful. The most powerful evil spirits might not be killed with a single strike. As expected, the female ghost was trying to repair her torn body. She was crawling toward them. Jiang Chen remained calm. He summoned the Chichu iron, preparing for a desperate fight. After powerful blow, the incredibly hard Chichu iron was actually chipped. After female ghost's arrogant words, knowing she wasn't Jiang Chen's opponent, she ran off. But Jiang Chen was like a persistent ghost, insisting on chasing her to cultivate their relationship further. The two chased each other from the 6th floor to the 1st. The residents at the doorway heard noises from upstairs. They thought Jiang Chen was screaming because he was being tormented by a ghost. They poked their heads out to look. A multicolored monster flew right past them. Looking back, they saw Jiang Chen with red glowing eyes, excitedly chasing after it. Who could tell who the real ghost was anymore? A few minutes later, a burst of fire appeared in the community's open space. It was Jiang Chen who caught up with the female ghost and struck her with all his strength. Looking at the female ghost lying on the ground, giving up struggling, Jiang Chen decided to have a good talk with her. After some squeezing, Jiang Chen drained all the ghost energy from her. The vengeful ghost now of no use. He thought he should be able to escape this disaster. But unexpectedly, the next moment, Jiang Chen was about to send him to meet the Lord of the Pavilion. He cried and begged Jiang Chen not to kill him. But now it's too late to say anything. Jiang Chen used a move called Qi Ping Zhang. It directly corroded the female ghost into nothingness. Then looking at his system balance, Jiang Chen couldn't help but sigh. As expected, a top-tier vicious ghost, it can withstand 3 attacks from a 1-star demon. And it also helped him earn nearly 900 ghost energy. The Kaz Demon King demon card. I can enjoy drawing demon cards again. As for the mess left on the ground, Chen Shu just needs to book an after-service cleaning on the app. The cleaning staff will clean up the scene thoroughly. Seeing that it's getting late, Chen Shu suggested sending Jiang Chen home. Then she activated the sports car beside her. Jiang Chen was so amazed his mouth almost watered. And what's even more critical is, this car was actually exchanged by her using her ghost hunting points. She redeemed it with points from the underworld. Jiang Chen quickly checked his phone. He had a total of 150 points. At the exchange rate of 10,000 per point, he is already a millionaire. It's just that Jiang Chen doesn't understand why there are 2 law enforcement agencies in the world of extraordinary people. Chen Xi explained to him that initially there was only the Tao League, but 100 years ago the Yin Kao organization suddenly rose. Their methods were cruel and they had many experts. This organization took over the responsibilities of the Tao League by force with its own strength. As soon as the Yin energy erupts, the living area will descend into chaos. When the underworld has not yet risen, only the Tao League can step in. In reality, it's just using lives to fill the gap. Unceasingly, extraordinary people are sent to the living restricted zone. These are the 6 most terrifying places in the world. Their danger level is ranked essence. Evil spirits range from Edis level, which defines the strength of extraordinary individuals and evil worship. Even the most terrifying Ghost King is only class. In other words, the living forbidden zone is countless times more terrifying than the Ghost King. After understanding this basic information, he directly searched for unsolved paranormal events on the underworld software. Stairwell suicide. After their deaths, their bodies were missing. Comparing the number of people entering and leaving the hospital, after this critically ill patient was admitted, his body was still hidden in the hospital. It was discovered that all the nurses on duty committed suicide in the stairwell, but their bodies disappeared from the morgue. No useful information was found in the surveillance. It can only be inferred that these bodies are still hidden in the hospital. The danger level given by the underworld organization is D. The basic reward is 100 points. Jiang Chen took a taxi straight to the hospital where the incident occurred. On the way, the driver reminded Jiang Chen that the North 2nd Road Hospital has been quite unstable lately. As soon as he got off the car, the once lively street had become desolate. There are almost no doctors on duty in the hospital. It wasn't until a doctor heard Jiang Chen asking about the morgue that he opened the door and spoke. "You were here to handle that matter, right?" The hospital director Bao Jing reported it. Jiang Chen instantly became interested. An ordinary person actually knows about matters in the world of the extraordinary. The doctor immediately began to explain. The missing patient case was reported to the director by him personally. As he led Jiang Chen toward the morgue. After the patient disappeared, strange things started happening at the hospital. It began with mysterious footprints appearing in the ICU, but the elderly patient in the bed had been paralyzed for over a decade and couldn't possibly get out of bed, and the footprints on the ground only showed the tips of the toes. The old man's son had also heard some local ghost stories. Only those who are possessed by evil spirits walk on their toes. So that night he kept an eye out. He lay by his father's bed pretending to sleep. Sure enough, he heard his father get out of bed. He peeked for a moment. His father was indeed walking on his toes. He didn't dare to move recklessly. In a daze he fell asleep. The next day when he woke up he found his father was lying in bed, perfectly fine. He thought this was all over. The body was placed in the morgue, but then disappeared. Afterward it seemed as if an infectious disease had spread. Several patients suddenly died in succession, and their condition was just like that of this old man. In the end, even the morgue's attendant died. I'm currently in charge of the keys. After saying this, the two of them had already entered the morgue. The doctor suddenly turned around to remind Jiang Chen to make sure the door is closed properly. Otherwise, the cold air in the morgue will escape. Before he could finish speaking, Jiang Chen slammed the mortuary door shut. He didn't hesitate to bolt it. This script is off. Low-level ghost spacing out. Ghost 3. It seems the one beside me isn't human either. Jiang Chen didn't expose his identity. One man and one ghost walked deeper into the mortuary. Didn't they say all the bodies had disappeared? Why are they lying there so neatly now? The doctor is threatening from the side. Could it be that these bodies have come back? Jiang Chen took the opportunity to punch the bed beside him. Ghostly energy started to flow into the system panel. As long as there's an eerie emotional fluctuation. The eerie inexplicable thing on the bed took a punch, so it stopped playing dead. It howled and counterattacked Jiang Chen, but as soon as they clashed, he realized how weak it was. He could tell it posed no threat to him. Jiang Chen started planning his wool-gathering scheme. He calculated with his fingers. He pretended to act concerned. This corpse doesn't allow for deception. You haven't even reached the 7th day after death. Prematurely rising from the dead will not only affect your family's future, but it's also bad for your reincarnation. Now I can only make you die again to solve this. Under the gaze of the little ghost, Jiang Chen sent him to reincarnation with one strike. Low-level corpse ghost defeated. Ghost energy. After the death of the Shiki, black resentment spread from its body. Jiang Chen knew this was a sign of someone who had caused harm. At this moment he was no longer pretending. He turned the blade towards the doctor hiding nearby. I originally planned to catch you off guard and deal with you. Looks like I miscalculated. The doctor ripped off his lab coat, revealing the true form of the Shiki. Stop playing dead. Are you waiting for him to cut you down one by one? Let's go together. All the household sat up from their beds. They looked at Jiang Chen with hostile expressions. We just want to survive. Why do you have to interfere? Jiang Chen sneered dismissively. I survive by eating people. Do you even have the right to question me? Then he charged into the horde of corpses. He reaped the ghouls one by one as easily as chopping vegetables, although they were numerous and powerful. Jiang Chen didn't even need his demon transformation card. He could easily handle them with the demonic power he had inherited. Jiang Chen finished off all the corpse ghouls. Although the physical consumption was too high, the collected ghost energy had exceeded the 1000 mark. The system sent a notification. Successfully unlocked the extraction permission for the 2-star monster card. The lottery machine in the panel was wildly spinning. After the upgrade, each extraction would consume 1000 ghost energy. However, the monsters drawn were extremely powerful. 2-star monster card Great Deer King. After activation, you can obtain a portion of the yokai's power within half an hour, and randomly acquire 2 divine abilities. The host can also choose one body part to demonize. After demonization, 10% of the physical strength and demonic power will be permanently retained. There's a 1% chance of inheriting the demonized body part. The small fryer cleared. It's time to find the mastermind behind this. There's a forbidden practice in this hospital. If you encounter someone with a blacked tag, you absolutely must not take this elevator, because only corpses in the morgue have these black tags. Jiang Chen looked at the ghost speaking confidently in front of him, and pulled out a large handful of blacked tags from his pocket. Is this what you mean? Department number, department. The ghost froze in place. Number, department. These were just looted from the morgue number. Just as the atmosphere turned awkward, the elevator doors opened again. A male doc carrying a black plastic bag stepped in. Jiang Chen guessed that there were probably few living people left in this hospital, and this newcomer was probably another strange creature. He deliberately tried to provoke the female ghost beside him. My dear, what do you think he has in his bag? The man gave a sinister smile. You're that curious about what's inside? After you see it, don't regret it. Then he slowly opened the plastic bag. He took out a glass container from inside. What's inside is rather strange. It seems like something bit it. The man slowly took off his mask. He couldn't resist and took a bite. Inside the glass bottle was actually an organ. Most people would be scared out of their wits at the sight of this, but Jiang Chen had become somewhat immune to it by now. In order to provoke this strange emotion, he snatched the container from the doctor's hands. He ran towards the corner under the shocked gaze of the 2 ghosts. The evil ghost was dumbfounded. Ghostly energy increased by 2. Jiang Chen felt a surge of joy. This method really works. He hid behind the corner. Taking advantage of the doctor's inattention, he struck with a single blow. Using the momentum of the swing, he swiftly stabbed into the protector's chest again. A powerful suction force surged within the nurse's body. A strange smile appeared on her face. My heart has long since died, she said. A claw shot toward Jiang Chen's chest. The intense impact made Jiang Chen wish for death. I feel like my internal organs have shifted. The muscles in my hand have been completely eroded. Jiang Chen looked down. This is the amulet his classmate, Lin Yue, gave him. She gave him this amulet a few days ago at school. She said there have been frequent murders recently, so she specifically went to the temple to pray for him. She told Jiang Chen to keep it close to his body. At first, I thought it was just a gift from a girl who had feelings for me. But now it's Lin Yue who could produce such a genuine item. Doesn't seem to be an ordinary person. While Jiang Chen was lost in thought, Dr. Ghost quietly sneaked up behind him and restrained him. Seeing this, the nurse ghost in front immediately delivered a heart-crushing strike. Having suffered a huge loss, Jiang Chen warned himself, never underestimate any strange entity again. At this moment, he could only feel as if his heart was gripped by a large hand, suffocating him, unable to breathe. This should be the murderous trait of the nurse ghost. He feared his heart had already been crushed. He could not hesitate any longer. Endless demonic power surged into his body. The pressure on his heart instantly vanished. A first-tier great demon, the Chaos King, randomly drew the heavenly blade of divine power. Jiang Chen suddenly exerted force. The nearest nurse ghost was burned to ashes by the raging fire. Turning back, the doctor who had just launched the sneak attack had already disappeared. At this moment, the roles of predator and prey had reversed. Under Jiang Chen's pursuit, he found the hidden strange being in a storage room. Having witnessed Jiang Chen's methods, the eerie figure couldn't muster any resistance, because he was extremely afraid, and Jiang Chen leisurely followed behind, harvesting ghost energy. However, he also noticed the doctor was deliberately shouting, probably waiting for reinforcements. Having been in the hospital for so long, he was finally about to meet the big boss. He chased for a while longer. The demon energy produced by the Doctor Ghost is becoming less and less. Jiang Chen casually conjured a ball of flame. He sent the Doctor Ghost to meet his great-grandmother. At the same time, whispers rang in Chen's ears. Something upstairs kept calling him. His body was starting to lose control. He really wanted to follow the voice. This is a small skill that comes with the Demon King of Chaos transformation card. It can clear the mind and sharpen the vision. The restlessness in my body has indeed stopped. At this moment, an old man suddenly walked up from behind. He wobbled toward the source of the sound. No wonder there are no living people in the hospital. Ordinary people have absolutely no resistance to this demonic sound. Jiang Chen quietly followed behind him. The sound came from the rooftop. A man was heard muttering to himself, "What's going on? Only a seductive old geezer? Not even appetizing to look at." Hearing this, Jiang Chen knew things were bad. Unfortunately, this strange creature was too quick. Jiang Chen couldn't stop it in time. He could only watch as the old man was thrown off the building. He acted out of hatred. But the upper half of the body in midair was completely unaffected. It stared at Jiang Chen and smiled. The strange body quickly regenerated. The number 18 on the shoulder was particularly noticeable. It turned out that it relied on rapid regeneration to be fearless. Jiang Chen, however, refused to believe in the supernatural. He directly unleashed his divine power, the Chaos Sky Blade, and struck at the strange entity. The system panel continuously recorded the increase in ghost energy, but the strange entity was like an immortal cockroach. Its body constantly shifted between destruction and regeneration. Finally, it seemed to have reached some critical point. The strange body began to change. The original human skin has disappeared. In its place is a body covered in armor with spiky scales. The previous attacks had no effect on him at all. Jiang Chen could only dodge while thinking of a way to deal with him. The divine talent Chaos Heavenly Blade is more focused on physical damage. Jiang Chen realized that the strange power wasn't very effective against this ability, so he had an idea. He gathered his demonic power at the corner of his forehead. Demon Wing Exploding Wave is a purely magical damage skill. Jiang Chen tried to counter the anomaly with demonic energy. The anomaly's body was constantly eroded by the demonic energy. For a moment it couldn't regenerate. Then he compressed the demonic energy into bullet-sized projectiles and fired them at the anomaly. Seeing that his body couldn't regenerate, Number 18 knew that he would surely die if this continued. He had already conceived a plan for mutual destruction, so he turned his last remaining demonic energy into a curse. Those afflicted will contract all his illnesses. Their souls will be unable to find release. Jiang Chen looked at the increased demonic energy value on his system. He didn't expect this strange creature to be below the level of a vengeful ghost. After a short while, the transformation time ended. A number 18 suddenly appeared on Jiang Chen's neck. At the same time, he felt a sharp pain in his stomach. Blood mixed with some full matter was coughed up. Then he vomited a large amount of full matter. At that moment, a medical record suddenly drifted down from the sky. It fell from the 18th strange being. Diagnosis: cognitive impairment. He suffered from several different illnesses. He once believed that putting his feverish sister in the refrigerator would lower her temperature, leading to my sister's freezing to death. Based on the above description, this strange curse is not difficult to understand. It forcibly imposes cognitive impairment on others, making the host believe they are ill, thus causing their body to actually have adverse reactions. It was only the final comment on that medical record that made Jiang Chen feel a chill down his spine. After the patient was transferred to our hospital, It has developed well. Case summary. Is it us the one who is sick as me? Is it us? Wait for Jiang Chen to finish reading the case. He noticed that the name at the top started to change. The case gradually evolved to show his own name. The situation is becoming tricky. He quickly pulled out his phone and checked the information on the Underworld app about Ward 7. Entering Ward 7, the blood red countdown on the medical record is the only thing you see inside. No one ever comes out. After the countdown reaches 0, the host will enter Ward 7. The chosen person is only C level. However, the chosen person is only C level in strength. This indicates that the ghosts in the ward are not high level. This indicates the level of the paranormal in the ward is not high. After cleaning up the paranormal activity in the hospital, he reported it on the Underworld app. The personnel coming for the cleanup this time are from the Yin Kao organization. The members of this organization are growing in strength rapidly. Because they have mastered a quick method of sealing ghosts into their bodies, they can use strange powers to fight against the strange. Unfortunately, this method has severe side effects. Even selecting mentally tough special forces soldiers, the mortality rate is still 9%, with such a high elimination rate. The number of people in the underworld has always been in short supply. After a brief greeting, Jiang Chen hurried back home. Hongji has already prepared dinner. She invited Jiang Chen to eat together. You don't want to see what happened after dinner, so I'll skip it. He returned his own home. Jiang Chen suddenly remembered that he had to go to Zhang Shaming's villa tomorrow. That guy's a notorious rich kid in the class, 'cause he likes Lin Yue, and Lin Yue also has a soft spot for Jiang Chen. The two of them often quarrel at school, but this time, Zhang Shaming's father surprisingly sponsored their class trip to the Zhang family villa. Jiang Chen knew that Zhang Shaming's father was no better than Zhou Beipi. He definitely wouldn't be so kind. What was more concerning was that he had seen ghostly handprints on Zhang Shaming's back. This trip to the villa probably wouldn't be peaceful. Because he got along well with his classmates, Jiang Chen wasn't planning to stand aloof. The next day, a large bus was waiting early at the school gate. Xiao Lei Ji and Zhao Hu were Jiang Chen's best friends at school. The three of them were birds of a feather. Their relationship was so good they often addressed each other as father and son. Upon seeing them today, Jiang Chen unexpectedly found that Erhu was emitting an aura of golden light. It seems that this good brother is not an ordinary person. At this moment, young Master Zheng also appeared. We organized the students to line up and get on the bus. Jiang Chen noticed that the ghostly handprint on his back had faded somewhat. Someone must have helped him remove the strange curse. It seems that there is also an extraordinary person in Xing Shei's family. But why did he want everyone to go to his house at the moment the curse was half removed? The bus steadily drove toward the outskirts. It finally stopped outside a manor. The students were all drawn to the attention of this luxurious house. The pool and fountain were all there. This is how the wealthy live, so simple and unpretentious. A beautiful housekeeper stepped forward to guide everyone to the accommodation to settle their luggage. This manor was incredibly large. There was even a bridge in the backyard that spanned across a lake. However, Jiang Chen noticed that the bridge and the lake were unnervingly spotless. It's like nobody's been here for a long time. Pack up your luggage. Jiang Chen invited two of his buddies to the lake to skip stones. He was even more certain that Erhu was an extraordinary person. Who in their right mind skips stones using a boulder the size of their chest? Mainly because Erhu wasn't hiding his strength from them. He skipped that enormous stone, making it look like a series of tiles skipping across the water. They played into dusk. Laji suddenly felt the urge to urinate. After parting ways with the two, he went to the bathroom. The bathroom was empty. However, there were faint whispers coming from one of the stalls. He became curious. He tiptoed closer to listen. There were clearly two people talking inside. One of them said, "Wait, after we kill him, or should we bury him?" Another response was to just throw him into the lake to feed the water ghost. Hearing this, Laji initially wanted to turn around and run, but he realized the compartment was not locked. Through the gap, he saw that there was no one inside. He quickly pulled open the door. The compartment was filled with the word "kill" written everywhere. He rushed out of the bathroom in a panic. He shared everything he had seen and heard with his two mischievous friends. After listening to his account, Erhu and Jiang Chen both burst into laughter. After all, with their skills, they wouldn't take a little ghost that could only scare people seriously. After comforting him for a while, the group prepared to head back to their place. As they crossed the wooden bridge over the lake, he happened to encounter a cleaning lady who was sweeping the floor. However, she seemed to be lost in thought. Jiang Chen tapped her on the shoulder from behind. He wanted to ask her about the estate, but the cleaning lady was so startled that she dropped the broom she was holding. Jiang Chen was about to bend down to pick up the broom. Suddenly, the cleaning lady shouted at him to stop. A woman died in this lake. Since then, anyone who touches the lake water mysteriously falls in and drowns. The girl in front of me is also new here. Her name is Sun. Even her work uniform is from the previous cleaner. Officially, the previous employees were dismissed, but the servants in the manor are all saying they're actually dead. Sundai wanted to continue speaking, but was scolded by her supervisor who rushed over. The girl dared not speak again. Jiang Chen and the other two could only leave with a lot of questions. The conspiracy in the restroom, the water ghost in the lake, and the missing employee. All these signs indicated that something was definitely wrong with this manor. Night falls. The girl is video chatting with her boyfriend. As she adjusts her position, she unintentionally sees a pair of eyes appear on the screen. Her boyfriend on the video call quickly reminds her to look behind her, but there is clearly no one there. After hanging, the girl becomes increasingly afraid. She believed she hadn't been mistaken just now. She listened carefully. There seemed to be a faint sound of footsteps outside the door. She stuck her head out to take a quick look. It turned out to be the cleaning lady collecting the trash. She had really scared herself. Just as she was about to turn back, the cleaning lady head suddenly stopped. "What's wrong, miss? Do you need room service?" The girl didn't have time to be scared. She hurriedly retreated into the room, but the housekeeper wasn't ready to let her off. She followed her right into the room. This scene was witnessed by the trio who had been lying in wait. Arrow grumbled, "This is not garbage collection. This is about collecting lives, isn't it?" Meanwhile, inside the room, the cleaning lady had already found the girl's hiding place. She took out a black plastic bag. "Little girl, what should I do if you're too big to fit into my garbage bag? Looks like I'll have to take you apart to fit you in." At this moment, Jiang Chen suddenly appeared out of nowhere. Without warning, he shouted in the cleaning lady's ear. The cleaning lady was startled. "Fear 50. He sternly scolded the girl standing next to him. "This lady, you came here late at night to spy on a female student. Are you eyeing her looks? You shouldn't think too much about it, wanting to have such looks, unless you get a head transplant." Unexpectedly, the woman became interested upon hearing this. "Young man, is the head transplant you're talking about like this?" Jiang Chen didn't give her time to react. She kicked the ball she snatched out of the window. The maid in the guest room died. Her ghost power reached 99. The evil spirit that fell into the lake wasn't so easy to kill. She just did not get to fly ashore. Suddenly, countless golden threads surged from the lake bottom, wrapping around her head. In no time, she was devoured by the water and disappeared. The body in the guest room, losing its support, collapsed with a crash. A single evil spirit brought Jiang Chen a total of 300 ghost energy points. He also had a 2-star demon card dually action that he hadn't used, so he casually drew 2 1-star demon cards for backup. They were the 1-star demon card Tachushi and the 1-star demon card Yahelong. After dealing with the evil spirit transformed by the landlady, the group gathered and headed to the mansion's main hall. There were many students gathered there. The scene was a bit chaotic. After asking around for a while, I learned that a female student was missing. According to her 2 best friends' recollection, the 3 of them were wandering around the manor when the missing student Xiao Kan was attracted by a handsome gardener. She left her 2 friends behind to approach him. After that, the 3 of them went separate ways and never saw each other again. The homeroom teacher was so anxious that his forehead was covered in sweat. He called in the supervisor of the manor, hoping she could help check the gardener's information. But the supervisor told everyone that they hadn't hired any gardeners here. After learning what had happened, Jiang Chen quietly stepped behind the others. Meanwhile, in a greenhouse in the manor's back garden, a man dressed as a gardener was carefully trimming a newly arrived humanoid plant. The man had turned a flower-like young girl into a potted plant, and every day he trims the excess branches from her. He is a diligent gardener. He works every day in his greenhouse. However, his collection is truly unsettling. The cactus is the most mischievous plant in the greenhouse. She often makes little movements, which ruin the overall aesthetic of the human-shaped potted plants. At times like these, the gardener can only use his scissors to trim the excess parts, because only then can she be worthy of the title of the most beautiful female employee in the estate. Next is the highlight of today. The newly arrived potted plant has a thick, round stem, but its overall appearance feels a bit off. Next, we need to insert a copper wire to reshape it. Then we'll clean off the extra branches on its arms. Afterwards, this young potted plant is perfectly shaped. Jiang Chen wandered around the estate for a long time. He still hasn't found any trace of the missing classmate. He kept circling around inside. It was like hitting a wall after encountering a ghost. He tried to concentrate his spiritual power in his eyes. Finally, he saw something different in the desolate backyard. On the surface, it appeared to be a greenhouse, but the plants inside were all made from living people. When he found Zhou Yan, this little girl has lost all semblance of a human. There are mottled bloodstains on her thigh. The moment she saw Jiang Chen, she let out excited, stuttering sounds from her mouth. The gardener at the end of the flower room also heard the noise. He quickly turned around and looked. The gardener felt suspicious. Ghostly energy 50. He followed the sound and came over. In front of him appeared a strange potted plant. He had carefully taken care of every pot. Why would such a mutated variety appear? Such always. They are absolutely not allowed to be in his flower room. Just as he approached it, Jiang Chen activated a star-transforming demon card. The intoxicating sense of power once again spreads throughout his body. Sharp bone spurs grow from his joints. He randomly acquires a divine ability, 800 Miles Demon Fist. Taking advantage of the gardener's moment of surprise, he strikes with a punch. His flying body crashes into the strange potted plants in the flower room. He hates the man in front of him. All the effort that was destroyed was his own hard work. The gardening shears in his hand began to mutate. They rapidly enlarged to several dozen times their original size. He intended to turn the man in front of him into fertilizer. The gardener swung the scissors and hurled them at Jiang Chen. A powerful shockwave blasted a huge hole in the greenhouse. Jiang Chen deliberately moved the battle outside. Lakian seemed to still have some breath left. Maybe we can save that girl. A more intense confrontation begins. The gardener's fighting skills aren't impressive. He can only hold the giant shears across his chest to defend himself. But after a few punches, Jiang Chen noticed something was wrong. Many young shoots were growing on the blade of the shears. They automatically adhered to Jiang Chen's fists. This weapon is very strange. Jiang Chen quickly kicked him away. He clearly felt the tender shoots trying to break through his skin and take root. Fortunately, the demon power protecting him helped block it. The gardener revealed a cold, sinister smile. My Wanjian Xing isn't something that can be stopped with bare hands. Then he opened the giant scissors again and attacked Jiang Chen. While rapidly retreating, Jiang Chen realized that this pair of scissors was truly difficult to deal with. After cutting the tree, it actually grew new shoots directly. He can only wrap his fist with demonic energy to fight against the scissors. But this strange creature is too sinister. The buds on the scissors will automatically avoid areas wrapped in demonic energy. It knocks the gardener back again. Jiang Chen suddenly realizes that his feet are already entangled by withered branches underground. Taking advantage of Jiang Chen's limited movement, the gardener knocks him flying into the greenhouse. He looks in Zhao Kuan's direction. Lanshu not good. A shui, we still need to move the battlefield elsewhere. Just about to take action. A huge blade suddenly rushed toward me. I almost got sliced in half. Seeing the sneak attack fail, the gardener directly moved to Zhao Kuan's side. I was wondering why you keep running outside. So he was afraid of hurting my treasure. Then he manipulated the plants on Zhao Kuan, controlling her to make punching motions. Jiang Chen was caught in a dilemma for a moment. He could only passively take the blows. After several punches in a row, Jiang Chen was already breathless and panting. The gardener saw his weak appearance. They came closer to mock him. Little did they know, Jiang Chen had been waiting for this chance to get close. A golden light emanated from the chair leg above his head. It shone brightly, mirroring the moon in the sky. Black as howls at the moon, purifying all beings. An immense power descended from the heavens, waiting for the moonlight to dissipate. The gardener and his greenhouse were completely purified. The gardener died. Ghost energy 89. The strange potted plants that once existed turned back into human forms. The severed leg of Xiaokan grew back automatically. Luckily, everything that just happened was merely a hallucination in a parallel world. Soon Jiang Chen returned with Zhao Kuan. He only said that he was being stalked by a serial killer. Fortunately, Jiang Chen found her in time. That's how she was spared from danger. The homeroom teacher called back the scattered crowd. After counting the heads, it was discovered that 2 students were missing. Yangji and Zhou Xiaodong are Xingdes lackeys. To be honest, Jiang Chen did not want to save them. It's just that the homeroom teacher is usually a softie. He did not want to make things difficult for the teacher. Exchanged a glance with my good brother. Erhu asked Jiang Chen to find the missing classmate. He stayed behind to protect everyone. He thought he was strong enough. He decided to stay and protect most of the classmates. Jiang Chen headed towards the cafeteria. On the way, he ran into the panic-stricken supervisor Wu. After some questioning, he learned about the situation at Zoyuan. It turns out a lot of strange things happened here. The previous group of employees all died. Supervisor Wu only transferred here recently. One of the victims was the former night watchman. During a night patrol, he stumbled upon a murder case in the foot massage parlor on the 2nd floor of the restaurant. He hurriedly ran downstairs. He planned to go call for help, but while he was running, the old security guard kept feeling something was wrong. It was as if there was an extra pair of footsteps behind him. The next day, people discovered the old security guard had also been killed in the bathroom. When he died, his neck was twisted backward. The position was very strange, because it's an elderly person living alone, so the matter was kept hidden. Jiang Chen thought, this must be the 2 ghosts Leji encountered in the bathroom. Then Jiang Chen walked towards the dining room on his own. Before he entered, he smelled a strong scent of blood. There's definitely more than one ghost in here. Jiang Chen opened his phone and looked around the restaurant. He suddenly noticed a dead face with wide open eyes. A knife was stabbed into its neck. The body was wearing the resort staff uniform. Thick sticky blood was flowing on the floor. Jiang Chen reached out and touched it. It was still a little warm. It must have died not long ago. According to Li Ji, after these 2 ghosts kill someone, they will also dispose of the body. The body hasn't been dealt with yet. They should still be here. Jiang Chen immediately pulled the knife out of the body. He stood up and walked toward the restroom. He was looking for Yang Ji and Zhao Xiaodong. He took a few steps forward. He suddenly saw Zhao Xiaodong trembling in the corner. When he saw that it was Jiang Chen, Zhao Xiaodong threw himself in his arms, crying bitterly. He shouted loudly that there were ghosts here. It turned out that he had been chased and hacked by those 2 ghosts all the way to the restroom. His back hacked to a bloody mess, covered in scars, but during his escape he had gotten separated from Yang Zi. Just as he was speaking, Yang Zi's figure suddenly appeared ahead. Jiang Chen stopped Xiao Xiaodong, who was about to greet him, because he could tell that the person in front of him was no longer human. His behavior was strange. It seemed like he had fallen into a strange illusion. The priority now is to resolve the bizarre situation behind him to restore him to normal. With this in mind, Jiang Chen instructed Xiao Xiaodong to stay with Yang Zi. He himself hid in the shadows. After a while, the security guard, transformed into a malevolent ghost, finally appeared. Jiang Chen quietly approached him from behind and slashed down with his sword. He narrowly avoided the crucial blow, hiding behind the security guard and sheathing his sword. "Old man, don't try to fight, just go back and rest." From an angle unseen by Jiang Chen, the old security guard secretly chuckled. How is it possible that the ghostly energy hasn't increased yet when things have reached this point? At this moment, the security guard shouted. The neck split open and limbs slowly started to grow. With a leap, jump down. I was completely stunned. This damn old ghost is getting pretty fancy with his moves. At this point, the ghost that jumped down had already turned red and was right next to Yang Zi. He immediately grabbed Yang Zi's head and mocked, "Come on, cut me, don't you like cutting people?" Without thinking, I raised my hand, threw my knife, and it struck the old security guard's big head, also giving Yang Zi a piercing in the process. At this point, the old security guard, as he was turning to ashes, cursed, "You're really ruthless. You can even go after your own friend." Dao lightly blew and said, "Sir, your information is useless. Go down and learn more from the old woman at the head of the village." He still wanted ding security ghost death, Ghost Kai 99. At this time, I sighed with relief and said, "It seems he's been saved." Feeling my presence, Xiao Xiaodong suddenly became anxious and said, "Dad Jiang, quickly look at Yang Zi's ear. It's black." Feeling my presence, they started to burn up. Xiaodong suddenly looked at me anxiously. "Dad Jiang, quickly look, Yang Zi's ear is black." Then Yang Zi also reacted, crying, "Dad Jiang, please save me from now on. My life is yours." Village head story. I immediately put on a stern face and shouted, "Don't call me Dad. You're not my sons. This idiot is really unlucky. Today I'll pity him and save him once." At the village entrance, I grabbed his ear, which was radiating a ghostly aura. I activated my ability, directly drawing out the ghostly energy. I immediately drained the ghostly energy. Yang Zi immediately felt better. At this moment, I sighed and thought, finally, I can go back, report in, and get a night's sleep. But things are never that simple. At this moment, on the bridge over the artificial lake, the beautiful housekeeper was rushing forward. She was on her way because she also felt something was wrong. She was paying attention to the ground, worried about what she might step on. Then the water weed suddenly started to wrap around the beautiful housekeeper from her legs upwards. By the time the beautiful housekeeper reacted, she was already completely entangled by the water weed. She tried to shout, but the water weed blocked her mouth. "My 500,000 is about to be lost here." Sure enough, heaven doesn't drop good luck. Sure enough, heaven doesn't drop high. If it does, it's a trap. Just as she was about to be pulled into the lake, at the critical moment, she grabbed. At that time, the housekeeper fantasized about a white knight coming to rescue her. At that moment, the housekeeper fantasized that her Prince Charming had arrived. As Uryu exerted his strength and pulled the beautiful housekeeper ashore, the beautiful housekeeper saw that it was a darned monk. Hesitantly, the monk said, "My lady, you're a bit heavy. I used a bit too much strength and hurt you. I apologize." He then added, "My lady, I apologize, I used too much strength." Before the monk could finish, the housekeeper immediately ran off, leaving him clueless about the intricacies of a woman's heart. The water plants were left without a target. He charged toward Erhu, entangled in the water plants. Erhu, looking at the aquatic plants, silently said, "Girl, you don't want me. You wretched beast, Taoist, are you after me now?" Erhu clasped his hands together and began chanting a spell, forming the Great Three Secrets hand seal. Once the seal was formed, he immediately turned toward the lake, raised it up and shouted angrily, "Show yourself, you demon." Immediately the lake surface was tumultuous. The lake water immediately churned. Erhu floated on the lake's surface. Then a fish person stood in the whirlpool. Their whole body was covered in fish scales. Amidst the surging waves, they glared angrily at Erhu. Seeing this, Erhu realized it was a female ghost. Lima's mind immediately became chaotic. A female ghost? This is not my specialty. Soon the female ghost rose from the lake, walking on water. Erhu could only grit his teeth and jump onto the surface of the lake. Without saying a word, the two of them went straight into battle. Erhu moved as if walking on solid ground on the surface of the lake, fighting the female ghost back and forth. Then he performed the old tree twisting roots move, struggling with the female ghost. At this moment, Erhu was sweating profusely. Staring at Bodo, he said, "This ghost benefactor, the sea of bitterness has no bounds. Turn back." Before Erhu could finish speaking, the female water ghost directly raised her leg at him and performed a splits move, saying, "Bald donkey, I never even thought about getting ashore. Luckily Erhu reacted quickly. He grabbed the female ghost's ankle with one hand, saying, "Since this is the case, I can only invite you ashore." After saying that, Erhu pulled hard. The scene was too beautiful. I can't describe it. Quickly wrapping Erhu up. Seeing this, in a moment of desperation I had no choice but to resort to technology. Then an old-fashioned imp3 slid out from my sleeve. The Meep3 was still playing Jade Maiden Heart Sutra. It was still playing Jade, and transformed in golden symbols, rushing towards the female ghost. The female ghost was driven to a state of ecstasy and agony. She even opened her mouth, begging Erhu to turn off this cursed thing. Hearing this, smugly replied, "This was consecrated by the village head. A Buddhist chanting machine, isn't it awesome?" Just as Erhu was about to turn up the volume, the batteries died. Seeing this, Erhu immediately turned around and ran towards the shore. I should have brought extra batteries. Seeing this, the female ghost immediately controlled the aquatic plants to chase after Erhu. At this moment, Erhu instinctively glanced back. He realized the female ghost was being dishonorable, attempting to ambush him with water plants. The next second, he cast the fearless seal tilt and touched the ground. He swiftly turned around, blocking the water plants. Using the force from the collision, he flew back to the shore. The female ghost, seeing this, immediately angrily unleashed the water-flooding Jinshin. He wants to drag Hu back into this. Sanhu knows he can't focus on this turbulent female ghost. He can't concentrate. Just as he was about to go back to protect his classmates, suddenly a round of applause echoed. It was the rich second generation applauding. "Not bad. I didn't expect there were still hidden gems among these useless classmates. You're someone like this now?" After saying that, he smiled proudly and introduced a middle-aged man next to him. "I forgot to introduce you. This is my book." At this moment, Erhu's heart struggled for a moment. Would capturing the leader first be too underhanded? He then rushed towards the rich second generation. At this point, Erhu only wanted to capture the young heir as a hostage, to ensure that the whole class can escape unscathed. At this moment, the rich second generation heir looked panicked as he saw the approaching hand. He quickly turned his head and shouted at the butler, "Butler Zhang, save me." The butler responded with a voice, and his figure disappeared. Only his afterimage remained, and with a loud bang it struck the hand coming at Erhu. The butler then attacked Erhu fiercely. Erhu had no choice but to retreat and dodge. After 99 moves of intense fighting, Erhu was forced back. Erhu looked at his injured hand emanating demonic energy. He blurted out, "You use demonic energy? Are you from the Ghost Cultivation Sect?" "Oh, my little brother, you have sharp eyes. I'm Zhang Xianhai from the Ghost Cultivation Sect." Erhu clenched his fists and roared upon hearing this. "You killed so many people. Is it?" The butler smiled sinisterly. He pulled out an egg from his bosom, like a bird turtle egg. Then he crushed it. He said, "I've killed everyone who knows. Who will punish me?" Then the meatball landed and instantly grew larger. Erhu watched the meatball on the ground grow larger. He exclaimed, "This is a ghost slave." Then he nervously looked at Zhang Shanhai. Zhang Sanhai, on the other hand, looked at his phone and said, "Killing a Zhao family disciple should get me about 500 points on the Dark Alliance, right?" Having said that, he commanded the ghost slave to attack me. At this time, Sanhu wasn't idle either, immediately forming hand seals. Just as the ghost slave was about to approach, golden light spread all over his body. After the strike, the chill on his back made Erhu feel relieved. He almost got killed by Gai Nu. Seeing this, Zhang Sanhai immediately gritted his teeth, feeling Erhu's talent. If he doesn't eliminate him today, he will be killed within a year. Then Zhang Sanhai used his signature move, the Thousand Souls Right. A deep blue ghostly energy continuously spread from his body. Is absorbed by Genu. In an instant, Gai Nu grew to twice the height of a building. Erhu was so frightened that he kept retreating. Then Erhu snorted coldly and took off his outer clothing, revealing his perfect muscular physique. "Looks like I'll have to show my true skills. Dragon Elephant Golden Light bestow upon me." Golden runes appeared on Erhu's arms. Jingyi Vajamantine, furious eyes. "All beings bow your heads." Scene change. Couldn't help but think of Erhu's Dragon Elephant Golden Light. I had heard Chen Su mention the Dao League in the underworld before. Longsheng Temple is one of the 6 giants of the Dao League. This Dragon Elephant Golden Light is the temple's unique skill. Looks like Erhu's background is quite formidable. The scene shifts back to Erhu, and with a roar, the ghost slave charges at him. Erhu also uses the Dragon Elephant's power seriously to strike back. In an instant, he tears the ghost slave in half, and he boldly said, "Just right for me to warm up. I'll deal with you, my master, later." Seeing this, the rich second generation couldn't sit still. He anxiously said, "Steward Zhang, the male ghost is furious. Hurry up and make your move." Then Steward Zhang bit his thumb and said, "I've struck it rich. This kid is not only from the Xiao family, but also a genius from Longshan Temple," and poured the blood wine towards the almost bursting Ghost Fury. Using a blood sacrifice, Ghost Fury absorbed the blood and then instantly swelled several times in size, immediately punching Erhu and sending him flying. or who could only passively defend. Just as he was about to retreat to the lake, I happened to see the female ghost on the bridge, intending to ambush. I immediately shouted at Erhu. After shouting, I jumped into the lake. This move startled both Erhu and the female ghost. The reason I did this was to attract the female ghost over and use the demon transformation card Sea Dragon. With a roar from me, a shark's phantom appeared behind me. Then gills grew on my neck. Ding. Random superpower acquired. Minor water manipulation technique. At that moment I chuckled and casually created water spout and swung it at the female ghost, evilly laughing. Ghost sister, come for a kiss, don't be shy. I took the chance while she was still stunned and hugged her from behind. Ding. The water ghost's sun Mealing was overly startled. Fear, 40. A beautiful. You do care about me after all, huh? He finished speaking and bit down on her seaweed-like hair. Then he bit down harder. At this moment, the female ghost realized what was happening. She struggled desperately, but unfortunately I had already grabbed her weak spot. Her tiny... While chewing on the seaweed, I whispered to the female ghost, "Baby, the more you struggle, the happier I get. It's a pity I'm full." After saying that, it was like skipping a stone. I tossed the water ghost out. Off. Seeing this, Erhu instantly started to admire me and exclaimed, "A female ghost still needs to deal with Jiang Chen." Unexpectedly, this distraction gave the ghost servant a chance. In the next second, it sent Erhu flying. At that moment, I didn't see Erhu get knocked away. I was pulled underwater by the water ghost. Then I said to the water ghost, "Since you crave my body so much, then stay by my side." After saying that, I used the transforming demon card to transform into a shark eagle. Then I unlocked my ultimate skill. Although it only lasted 2 seconds, it was enough. Then I shout, "I'm coming," and unleash my skill, Sea King's Roar. Then I released my transformation, and with my open palm, used the skill 5-finger water prison. Take this. The water ghost was instantly subdued by my water prison as I tightened my grip. At this moment, the water ghost blushed and began to enjoy it. Seeing this scene, I couldn't help but feel the urge to act. I immediately pinned the water ghost down and spread its legs wide. I let out a strange laugh and moved closer. I immediately grinned wickedly and started tickling it. The female water ghost let out a shy scream and said, "You re-helping a murderer? You'll never have a good death." Hearing this, I instinctively froze. The village chief story. You mean the murderer who helped the village chief? The village chief's story. What are you talking about? The village chief's story? You bunch of people in Zhang Shaming's gang. I control the water ghosts. The village chief. Standing in front of him, how is Zhang Shaming involved? The village. He was the one who harmed you. The village chief's story. At this moment, the scene changes. The village chief's story. Back on. Story of the village head. Erhu and Nu are fighting fiercely. Story of the village head. Then Erhu with a single punch hits Guy Nu. Story of the village head. Followed by a backflip dodging Guy Nu's attack. He thought to himself, this Guy Nu, he's not even tired. Story of the village head. At this time, Zhang Xianhai, feeling a little weak in the knees, sneered. So these are the disciples of Longsheng Temple. Story of the village head. They're nothing special. Story of the village head. Out of breath, Erhu decided the village story. It couldn't drag on any longer. The village story. It had to be a quick decision. The village story. Otherwise his life would be over here. The village story. He saw the ghost servant continue attacking Erhu. Erhu immediately turned around and reached for his back. The village story. He decided to risk it. The village story. Because there was a secret weapon behind him. The village story. But this thing consumes one's lifespan. Village head story. At that moment Erhu's eyes were sharp. Village head story. Just as he was about to consume lifespan and use his secret weapon, village head story. Suddenly a water ball hit Guy Nu, interrupted Erhu's casting. As Erhu felt confused, I, holding a water ball, stood proudly on the lake's surface and said, "Erhu, are you going to kill the ghost or kill the person first?" Erhu immediately exclaimed with joy upon hearing it, "Ah, Jiang Chen, you're the expert when it comes to ghost fighting. I'll take care of this. You stay here and watch the village." After hearing this, I immediately stepped into the water and rushed toward Zhang Xianhai. Then Erhu excitedly charged toward the ghost slave. Without its dark magic, the ghost slave was clearly no match for Erhu. With a single punch, Erhu sent the ghost slave flying. The ghost slave, knocked to the ground, visibly shrank rapidly. His body was visibly shrinking before our eyes. In the end, Erhu kicked him to meet Buddha. The scene shifts to my side, the village story. At this moment I leisurely walked on the lake, the village story. I was planning to fly a kite behind the kidney-deficient Zhang Xianhai, the village story. At this moment, Zhang Xianhai was panicking, chased by me, the village story. He shouted for help to Zhang Shaming, the village story. But the next second, the village story. Our young master Zhang immediately performed a ninjutsu and ran away. Village head story. At this moment, Zhang Xianhai was speechless and kept blaming himself. Forest head story. He thought he was an idiot. Village head story. How could he have thought of asking young master Zhang for help? Village head story. At this moment, I immediately threw a water ball. Village head story. It hit Zhang Xianhai's back. Village head story. He turned around and glared at me fiercely, but I was leisurely sitting on the water. Let's see what other tricks he has. They looked at each other for a while. He fearfully asked, "Dare you kill me?" and rolled up his sleeves. Show me the dark, bloody axe on his arm. Just as I wondered what this was, or it reminded me Jiang Chen. Just to do it. He has a blood axe. Village head story. If you kill him, village head story. After Erhu finished speaking village head story, Zhang Xianhai seized the opportunity and threw a ghost slave to ambush me. Village head story. In a moment of urgency, I instinctively transformed my hand into a blade. I cut down both Zhang Xianhai and the ghost slave. Village head story. Reacting, I looked at the blood on my hand and awkwardly said, "Oops." I too are suddenly severed. The arm with the blood seal emitted a bloody aura. As I was surprised by the blood aura, suddenly the blood aura rushed toward me. Startled, I quickly retreated, but I was still too slow. In the end, the blood aura gathered into a blood mark on my arm. I stared in surprise at the mark the blood aura left. What the hell is this thing? Village head story. Or who stood behind me at this time and said, "Don't waste your energy." Head story. The blood talisman can't be wiped off? Story. Then I calmly said, "When there are too many lice, one doesn't fear the bites." Head. I had encountered something similar in the hospital before. For head story. Watching the ghost slave disappear. Village head story. Ding Gaiang took half a step. Village head story. The fierce ghosted. Village head story. Ghost energy 99. Village head story. I finally sighed and said, "It's finally resolved. There are no more ghosts, right?" I'm exhausted, but looking at the 2,720 points of ghost energy, I've made a profit. The Nerhu behind me praised, "I did not expect it, huh? Jiang Chen, you were really hiding it well. It's just a village story, but you've angered a ghost cultivator. After offending the Zong family, you might be in big trouble." I'm surprised. What kind of trouble? Do you know about the Dark Alliance? I know a little about it, but not. The Dark Alliance is full of strange people. Those who raise ghosts and practice witchcraft, and even those who cultivate themselves into ghosts, they, for their selfish desires, they, relying on their abilities, do wicked things. The blood talismans are marks issued by the Dark Alliance headquarters. Kill those who possess the blood talismans. You will be placed on the Dark Alliance's bounty list. With your current strength, your bounty points should be around 30,000. That's equivalent to the worth of a level 2 warrior. You anxiously told me to return to my family for protection, so I wouldn't be hunted by Dark Alliance assassins. I immediately felt awkward and said, "What family? The old monk who adopted me doesn't even know where he went." Then I thought to myself, I have a system. It should be more practical than any family legacy. A 1-star monster transformation can kill evil spirits. A 2-star monster transformation can kill vicious ghosts. A 3-star monster transformation can kill blood-clad ones. A level powerhouse should be about half a step from blood-clad. I drew a 3-star monster transformation card. What am I afraid of them for? At this time, Erhu saw me giggling to myself. He immediately worried and said, "It's all right. Don't be afraid, I'm here." Just then, there was a splash in the lake. The female water ghost emerged from the lake, shouting, "Let go of me, my tattoo." We both looked at the water ghost. Damn it, I almost forgot about her. Seeing that we ignored her, the water ghost struggled frantically, trying to break free from the bonds. The water chains formed from the lake water were gradually being stretched and torn apart. I immediately urged, "I can't hold on much longer in this state." The next second, sound of something breaking. All the water chains snapped. The female ghost, freed from her restraints, rushed towards us. At this critical moment, Erhu darted forward, saying, "Let me handle this." Then he formed hand seals, medium grade ascending, low grade descendant. Seeing this, the water ghost angrily shouted, "I'll kill all of you, Zing. Zing Shaming's lackey." A Buddha's flash sealed the water ghost with a 1,000-character binding. The female ghost also had a fierce look on her face, Erhu smiled and said, "That was close. He almost broke through, but he's also a man of misfortune." "How so?" "The 2 handprints behind Jing Shaming earlier. It must be something he left behind. It shows that the female ghost was murdered by Zhang Shaming before her death. Zhang Shaming found someone from a Ming to be his housekeeper. It was to use a Ming to completely eliminate the resentment." After listening, I exclaimed, "I only thought Zhang Shaming was a spoiled rich kid before. I didn't expect him to actually dare to kill someone." Erhu listened and helplessly chuckled. Human nature is always lower than you imagine. Then I looked at the bound female ghost. I turned to Erhu and asked how he would deal with her. Should we kill her directly, or let her take revenge before killing her? Erhu laughed and said, "I was worried you'd soften up. At that moment, I wickedly thought about letting him go. Who's playing Devil May Cry for me? Since I do not know how to deal with him, I'll handle Zhang Shaming first." After saying that, Erhu raised his right hand to control the female ghost. With a whoosh, she leaped into the air. We moved toward the mansion's main hall. The scene changed. We arrived at the Mountain Villa's parking lot. There was a peculiar large bus in the parking lot. It was covered in talismans. Young Master Jing was nervously blaming me. He said it was all Jiang Chen's fault for ruining his plans. Then the next second I took down a talisman, looked at it, and casually threw it away. What kind of hellish vehicle is this? So fashionable. Or who then solemnly said, this is Manager Zhang's scapegoat method. When this girl was murdered, she must have generated an immense resentment. So after the girl became a ghost, she unleashed a curse on him. So what's the deal with this scapegoat method? Substitution ritual. It involves using a large number of charms to mask the perpetrator's aura. Then it allows a ghost to kill people around them. This way the curse will take effect. The principle, if I were to explain it, is that by killing a living person, ghost hatred toward the target is vented. Therefore the hatred is reduced. As a result, the curse weakens. No wonder this time when I looked at Jing shaming that bastard, the village head's story. The handprints behind him started to fade. The story. Turns out he caused the deaths of many people. The head story. Immediately I happily ran to the water ghost's side. I said, excuse me, beautiful, sorry to interrupt, village head's story. Do you still hate Jing shaming, village head's story? The water ghost growled, what exactly do you want to do, village head's story? Then I loosened the water chain and said, I want to tell you. We can't let him die too easily. Don't you think so? Then he opened the car door, only to hear the car door slowly open. Then the aquatic plants gradually reached in the bus. Due to the dim environment, Zhang Shaming didn't see these aquatic plants. He turned his head and said to Manager Zhang, is it you? As the water plants grew thicker, Zhang Shaming, realizing something was wrong, immediately exclaimed, who is it? Who is it? The water ghost Yin Sis laughed and said, young Master Zhang, you've already forgotten about me. At this moment, Zhang Shaming was terrified, looking at the water ghost coming towards him. He staggered back, moving his trembling body. The water ghost swiftly controlled the water plants. The hair directly hit Jing Shaman's mouth. Then a mouthful of fresh blood sprayed out. At this moment, the entire bus was shaking violently. Arhu and I were both stunned. This was 100 times more intense than when I used spicy strips last time. Then ketchup kept flowing from inside the bus to the outside. I gently opened the bus door. Once again, there was a pile of Lao Gan Ma and all kinds of miscellaneous things. We waited a long time before cautiously walking on a village head story. Nowhere to set foot. Forest head story. The car is full of ketchup. Material head story. Very finely crushed. Village head story. Suddenly the female water ghost shrieked and appeared behind us, trying to ambush us. We exchanged a glance. The next second we used our skills in perfect unison, thrown at the water ghost. In an instant I beat the water ghost so badly he couldn't even recognize his own mother. Then I dragged him off the bus. Walking down the road I said, this ghost is mine now. Wait for me to call the underworld to handle the aftermath. Soon we arrived at the lobby, and under the curious gazes of my classmates, the village head pretended to sell out. I casually tossed the water ghost at their feet. At this moment Li Ji, this fool, pointed at the water ghost and looked at her, who saying, did you catch this one? Or who smiled and said, of course not. It was Jiang Chen who caught it. It was the village head story. Then I also smiled and grabbed the water ghost's head, the village head story. I said to Li Ji, son, you've got a good figure, the village head story. How about we have a shot together, the village head story? At that moment, the village head story. A woman suddenly stretched her head out of the crowd. Village head story. She immediately stepped forward and spoke to the master. Village head story. I have something to tell you. Village head story. I saw her early on the bridge. She was the one that Hugh saved. Village head saw. I let him speak about what happened. Village head story. He trembled and pointed at the female ghost, saying, I know her. Her name is Sun Mi. She's my best friend from my village. We came to the city to work together. Initially, she and I both applied for waitress positions at Jing Corporation. Miling was lucky enough to be chosen and went to work at the corporation's resort. Not long after she started, Miling called me and said that young Master Jing had taken a liking to her. He crazily pursued her, and every day he ate, drank, and had fun at the villa. He was very comfortable. After that, there was no news of him, so the purpose of my visit to the villa is to find her. At this moment, the female ghost's body trembled as she slowly regained consciousness. She recognized the woman in front of her. Tears began to flow from her eyes. Sun shouted out. Tears flowed from Sun Dai to Mei Ling. At that moment, I looked at the two of them with sympathy. Zing shaming that bastard not only played with women but also caused trouble in the village. Now it's led to these two being on different paths and alive, one dead. As I was struggling with how to deal with this water ghost, who stepped forward and said, Jiang Chen, we need to act. This water ghost is special, a story. It's useful to Yinka, a story. Do not kill, just finish saying a story. Suddenly the sound of a propeller came from outside. It should be Yinka's people arriving, a village story. At this moment, a helicopter appeared in the sky, a village story. Looking closely, a village story. A woman was standing at the door of the plane. It's the same captain from last time. Then with a sound, he jumped out of the plane, immediately followed by a graceful landing. The other two team members jumped down right after him. They then walked toward the wall. They were like ghosts. They passed straight through the wall into the hall. They said hello to me. I'm Su Lei, the captain of Team C Village Head Story. After introducing myself, I coldly instructed the other two team members Village Head Story to handle the onlookers. Village Head Story. See, at this time, Village Head Story. Leji saw his suspicious teammate approaching village head story and immediately panicked. Village head story. Urjia, come quickly to save the emperor. Soon a Yancha demon grabbed the young man's hand. Don't be afraid, I'll help you forget the unpleasant things, he said. Then a small dog-like monster climbed up Leji's arm. At this moment, Leji was trembling in fear and said, don't come closer. He couldn't understand it. In the next second, the monster opened its blood-red maw. It swallowed his head whole. Not long after, Leji grinned foolishly and said, it feels so good to shout. Push harder, it's finer. At this point, Urhu explained, this is a dream demon from the underworld. It is specifically used to erase memories. After saying this, Urhu turned to the captain and said, this is the female ghost we caught. She seems to still have a trace of humanity. Please examine her. After finishing the village head's story, a claw reached out from the shadow of the female captain. The village head's story. It swiftly grabbed the still dazed water ghost by the neck, and sharp flesh spines pierced into the ghost's mouth. The village head's story. The inspection probe showed a trace of blood. The village head's story. Then the female captain said there was indeed a trace of humanity. The village head's story. If a Wen ghost enters the body, the probability increases by 40%. The village head's story. At this moment, the nightmare ghost, constantly devouring the memories of other classmates. It was all done in a short while. At this time, the classmates were all bewildered, giggling foolishly. Then the female captain said, well done. Leave the remaining cleanup to the logistics team. We withdrew. As the female captain passed by me, I subconsciously puffed out my chest and bumped into her. As a result, I patted my chest. Sure enough, they pushed me back. Quite hard. Then I accidentally lowered my head. Damn, the village story. In her shadow, there was actually a big eye staring at me. The village story. Ghost cry 500. The village story. At this moment, I immediately started to laugh eerily. A strong hit like this gives 500. After they all left, Urhu came to my side and said, wow, you even dare to flirt with Jiang Chen the Yincha. Amazing. At that time, I ignored Urhu. Instead, I looked towards where the Yincha disappeared and said, it seems that I'll have to get closer to the Yincha in the future. Soon it was the next day. The village head story. The classmates on the bus all felt unsatisfied. It felt like something was missing, but I couldn't remember. Knowing the inside story, I pulled out my phone. I started checking the underworld iPop, looking at the 3,000 points village head story. I fantasized about finally having the confidence when doing activities with Chen Shu. After returning home village head, I decided to first boost my firepower. Village head. I opened the system. Give me 2 1-star Hoya cards, Chen Tu Go, and 1 2-star Hoya card, Kun Tu Gu Mo. At this moment, the system's gacha machine started complaining, Kun Tu Gu Shi. Why are we pulling cards again? I'm not happy, and you just pull whenever I tell you to. What kind of tool is this, spouting so much nonsense? 1-star card. White Tiger Vanguard. Ding 1-star monster. Bumpo Sec. Ding 2-star monster. Lonely straightforward public village head. Then I stared at the Bumpo second boss card for a while, and imagined the village head's past. Damn it, I really don't want to end up like this. I was then interrupted by the sound of a phone ringing, breaking my train of thought. It was Kwanzu who called. He said tomorrow is a group task. Are you ready? IV return. Yes, I'm ready. But it's my first time participating in a group activity. I can't exactly bring a knife, can I? Isn't Chang Sudo the same? It does seem a bit shabby, the shirt. Then let's do this. I'll take you to buy it tomorrow afternoon. Soon it was the next afternoon. Chen Suba was waiting for me at the school gate in his yellow car. He was waiting for me at the school gate in his yellow car. Many students who didn't want to study were gathered around his car, but I walked straight past them and got into the car. At this moment, they all angrily shouted at Jiang Chen village head story. They glared at me, village head story. You the enemy of all men, village head story. We will never forgive you, village head story. I didn't pay much attention to their complaints. I let Chengshu leave. I sent you off. The yellow sports car sped along the overpass. We soon drove into a small alley. I couldn't sit still anymore. I looked out the window and asked, where are we going? Chenshi replied, of course, to the black market. Where else can we get the equipment we need? Then she explained to me, the black market is a place where people secretly trade, avoiding the surveillance of Yin Kao and the Taoist League. It's a place for private transactions. A transaction takes place every 7 days, and it's always strange and unusual stuff. Maybe we could even find a hidden gem? Village story. I said excitedly, this place is great. I'll come here often. Then Chengsu shot me down. You're dreaming. Without someone to guide you, most people can't get in. Then please take care of your little brother, Sister Chen. Accompanied by a high difficulty tail flick, village head story. We arrived at the village head story. After getting off the car, we didn't find anything special, village head story. It was no different from the usual street, village head story. Just as I was wondering, village head story. A fly just buzzed past my ear, village head story. With the asterisk pop asterisk, it seemed to hit the glass, village head story. I opened my celestial eye in doubt. My celestial eye. Woo, is this the legendary barrier? At this time, Chengsu walked up and said, move aside. Country bumpkin, as she said, let me open your eyes. She clasped her hands together and began to chant an incantation. She forcefully thrust her hands into the barrier. Village head stories. Then the barrier was actually torn apart by Chen Xiu's hands. Village head stories. As the barrier ripped wider and wider, the scene inside was also revealed. At this time Chen Xiu didn't expect. She was inside the barrier. Then we entered together. I saw Chen Yu throw me a mask. Hey, what's this for? Then Chen Xiu said, put on the mask. This can avoid a lot of trouble. After I honestly put on the mask, questioningly looked at Chen Xiu. Why don't you wear one? At this time, Chen Xiu adjusted her sleeves and became smug. We're not the same. Because I have the Chen family's armband. Then we walked along the road and met people along the way. Everyone avoided me after seeing my armband. Seeing this, I couldn't help but sigh. It's so much better having connections. At that moment I passed a small shop. Seeing the enthusiastic shopkeeper, I casually picked up a knife that seemed pretty good and examined it. The boss flattered me, saying, "You have a good eye, sir. This knife is a family heirloom of mine. It's only 3,000 hell points." Then Chen Xiu stepped forward and looked at me with concern. "Jiang Chen, do you like this knife? Let me take a look for you." At this moment the boss saw Chen Xiu take the knife from my hand. Then I accidentally saw her arm badge. I immediately nervously explained, "It's a misunderstanding. I won't sell this knife anymore." Before the boss could finish speaking, Chen Xiu quickly tore a talisman off the knife. At that moment, the treasured knife instantly turned into scrap metal and explained, "This knife has a yin fire talisman attached to it. This is the most common method of forging fakes here." Chen Xiu tossed the knife aside and said, "Come on, I'll take you to a reliable weapon shop to have a look." Then Chen Xiu led me to a grand building. "Jiang Chen, you're really lucky. It looks like something incredible is about to appear today." At this moment I looked at Chen Xiu in confusion. "Sis, how did you know something incredible is coming?" "You see," then Chen Xiu pointed at a man. "He's from the Qin family. Only valuable can make the Qin family appear. Don't be fooled by her appearance. He's a wolf in sheep's clothing. His name's He initiated tomorrow's group task." He just finished saying that wolf in sheep's clothing came over and exchanged greetings with Chen Xiu. At that moment I was curiously leaning to the side. He was sizing up this Qin family member, but he wasn't friendly. When he noticed me sizing him up, he immediately gave me a sharp look. "This damn guy's such a sissy." Just as I was about to get angry, suddenly there was a commotion in the crowd. We instinctively looked in that direction. Damn, a bright future ahead. A beautiful woman slowly walked out of the door. She said, "Are all of you gentlemen ready with your points? The auction is about to begin." Then a group of people, excited and eager, shouted, "Don't worry, Master Liu. I wonder what amazing treasure you've crafted recently." At this moment, Chen Xiu quietly explained to me, "She is a disciple of the Lingbao sect. She is a renowned master of artifact forging." As soon as she finished speaking, Master Liu waved his hand and summoned a ball of blue light, then loudly said, "Since everyone is so enthusiastic, now let's begin." She then waved her hand. A table appeared out of thin air in front of her, immediately followed by a box. "Let's first close our eyes." She then slowly opened the box. A beam of light shone from the box. At that moment the buyers all exclaimed, "Master Liu's every move involves rare items." Then Master Liu took out a small drum from the box, saying, "This is my new work, a mid-grade, top-quality magical instrument, the Demon Sound Drum. This magical instrument's drumhead is special. A light touch will produce eerie sounds." At this moment a fan said, "How amazing. What would happen if you knocked on it?" Master Liu smiled slightly. "Since everyone is so enthusiastic, please everyone focus your minds. Those with strong perception, please step back a little. This magical instrument is a ranged sound wave attack." Once the crowd had mostly retreated, Master Liu could be seen. Suddenly waves of sound echoed out. The sound of the drum continued to spread, constantly shaking people's minds. The masks of those at the front of the crowd shattered directly due to the drum's sound. As the sound of the drum spread farther and farther, eventually the mask behind could no longer withstand and shattered completely. Finally a few more drum beats echoed. At this moment everyone slowly regained consciousness. As they regained their senses, they couldn't help but marvel at the power and range of the drum. Those with lower cultivation levels, it felt like I had just walked through the gates of hell. At this moment Chen Xiu, who had just recovered, anxiously looked at me. "Jiang Chen, okay? That was really terrifying just now." I could only respond awkwardly, "Hey, yeah, it was really scary. I almost thought I was dead." Actually, the drum sound didn't harm me at all. Instead, it resonated with the power within me. This is definitely a good thing. I need to figure out a way to get it back. At this time Master Liu alluringly said, "Since everyone has experienced the power of this magical artifact, then please, gentlemen, place your bids." After speaking he closed the box. The starting bid is 10,000 points. At this moment the crowd stirred. I bid 13,000. Bid 16,000. Hearing the bids I immediately felt embarrassed. Are they all that wealthy? I only have 4,800 on me. Suddenly, this fool Kinsey shouted out, "An astonishing price. I bid 30,000. When everyone heard this number, and considering Kinsey's status in the Qin family, they all fell silent. No one raised their bid. At this moment Master Li heard, the high price of 30,000 and immediately became excited, saying, since no one is bidding higher than 30,000, let's congratulate young Master Kun for successfully acquiring the demon sound drum. Just as young Master Kun smiled, was about to go collect the drum, an unexpected change occurred. With a whoosh, figure swiftly darted past Master Liu from behind, straight for the box on the table. Master Liu, reacting at last, hastily shouted, audacious thief, who are you? After a few flashes of the figure, it finally stopped before Kinzi's, holding the box. The young master has brought the drum back. Then Kinzi turned around holding the drum. He left with great flair. Seeing this, I couldn't help but sigh. It's great to be rich. Not only do you have bodyguards in the shadows, but you can buy anything you want. Then I said goodbye to Chu. Thank you, sis, for bringing me to see the world. Let me treat you to dinner later. Chen Su pointed beside her and said, sorry, Jiangchen. I still need to buy some talisman paper. Next time. Then she said goodbye to Chen Shu and made an appointment with her that she would pick me up for the event tomorrow night. On the way back, opened the underworld. Hey, check out tomorrow's tasks. Only task. The reward is only 180. The background of this person's task is from 5 years ago. One night, on the rooftop of a building, an incident of bullying occurred. The cause was an innocent. The girl was burned paper money and was misunderstood by a few school bullies as cursing them. They tortured her with large steel needles. In the end, because the pain was too intense and she was too scared, she lost her footing. She fell down the stairs. After her death, strange sounds could always be heard in the school. The voices of the dead will always return. Then 3 more taboos appeared. You can't mention a certain name, you can't go to the rooftop, and you can't break the school rules. Seeing this, I smirked and thought, this is interesting. After being bullied and falling from the building, I not only became a ghost but also created rules and taboos. Thinking of this, a horn sounded from downstairs. I stuck my head out to take a look, and it was Chen Su coming to pick me up. I went downstairs and got into Chen Shu's car. Chen Shu reminded me, this time it's a D group mission, and the team leader is Kinzi. We just need to blend in, do not rush to the front and attack. Hearing this, I impatiently sneered. Then Chen Shu punched me. It's just in me. Don't provoke them, or you'll be in trouble. I touched my bruised face. Okay, I got it. After saying that, I floored the gas pedal and headed towards the mission location. Soon we arrived here. The so-called mission point is a ruin, and then I was chased away by the workers. They said construction is underway here. No parking allowed. Hurry up and leave. For the mission, I could only use my underworld's meager ability to conjure a police officer Zed and say, we need to carry out a mission. And I also told him to keep it quiet. This is a secret investigation. Then the staff saluted us. Watching Chen Su and me walk into the dilapidated school, 3 people were already waiting. Curious, I activated my heavenly eye to observe the 3 people's abilities. I found that none of them were simple. Their strength is about the same as Erhu's. At this moment, a person named Liu Kai impatiently looked at Chen Shu and said, why are you only here now? You've kept us waiting for so long. Chen Xi smiled and responded, I went to pick up Jian Chen. I got delayed on the way, sorry. Hearing this, I couldn't help but get angry. Didn't Kinzi not come either? Who are you giving that face to? At this time, sister's son next to me smoothed things over. It's okay, we just arrived. Then a man named Jiangxi cowered to me. Little brother, I don't recognize you. What's your rank? I then smiled and replied to him, I'm currently to rank. Zhangxi immediately became arrogant upon hearing this. Oh, not bad. You're just like me, both at de rank. At this moment, Liu Kai sarcastically said, who the hell is as useless as you guys? I'm... Hearing this, I immediately got pissed off and pulled out my identification card. Hearing that, I immediately got angry. Hearing that, I immediately got angry. Hearing that, I immediately got angry. Damn it, who? Damn it, who? Damn it, I'd see. Believe it or not. Believe it or not, I'll make you see your grandma in a minute. Just as I was about to transform, Kinzi's voice came. Sorry everyone, I'm late. We were both stunned. Then Ukai instantly beamed and went to flatter Kinzi. I was fearful. Then Kinzi smiled and introduced the 2 people he brought. This muscular guy's Kun, rank D. This masked guy's Qin Feiyin, rank D. I looked at the masked guy and thought, this Qin Feiyin must be the bodyguard who took the box that day. At this moment, Kunzi noticed something was wrong with the number of people. Where's Yan? Hasn't she arrived yet? When I heard that name, I was instantly shocked. What Yan? Could it be my classmate? Just as I was lost in thought, a large iron rod suddenly flew toward me. It scared me so much that I jumped on the spot. Then with a whoosh, Yang Chen appeared as if she flashed, landing on the iron rod. With a carefree attitude, she said, I'm here. I'm here. The next second, she saw me and was immediately shocked and asked me, huh? Jiang Chen? How did you end up here? I awkwardly whistled, pretending not to know her. Fortunately, at this moment, Kunzi clapped his hands. Let's gather. Let's analyze the intelligence together. According to the previous clues from the underworld, there should be 3 ghosts. There should be a ghost that pokes people on the roof. If the school rules are violated, there should be a ghost that attacks people. 3. This should be the most vicious one in this mission. Just mentioning its name will result in indiscriminate killings. After Kinsey finished speaking, he immediately smiled and said, "We three are responsible for dealing with 2 and 3. Then Wen instructed Liu Kai and the other two to go to the rooftop to find the mastermind ghosts. Chen Shu and Yang Chan will be responsible for clearing out the minor ghosts. Does anyone have any objections to this arrangement?" After saying this, Liu Kai, that flatterer, immediately sided with him. Young Master Qin took on the most dangerous tasks. What more can we say? So everyone, make sure you have your walkie-talkies. Contact us immediately if you have any problems. After saying that, they all ran off, leaving only the three of us behind. Seeing everyone leave, Yang Chan immediately turned her head and stared at me. With a fierce expression, she said, "So you're also a person of extraordinary abilities?" I awkwardly waved my hand. No. I'm brought here by Sister Chen to see the world. Yang Chen believes in this. It only makes things more embarrassing. Stop with the false modesty, a mere D level. You're not worthy of my Wei. How do I respond to that? I could only grin foolishly. Then I leaned in closer to Yang Chan. Sure enough, my actions made her face turn bright red. She said, "You pervert, what are you trying to do?" To stop her from being so full of herself, I could only poke her chest, although it was just a small gesture. But as a girl, you should be reserved. Then she patted her big iron rod. What part of you has any femininity? And although I'm a D-level, a poor loser and looked down upon by you, but I am enough of a show-off, huh? I'm Ellen. Even if Wei were however amazing, even if she were with a poor guy like me, she wouldn't like you. I saw Yang Chen wanted to retort, so I immediately stared at her face. See, her face turned red. Yang Chen could only flail around, grabbing her stick and wildly gesturing, "You, what nonsense are you talking about?" Then she hit me hard, roaring, "Damn Yang Chen, I'm a normal woman. I don't do lesbian." After saying that, she hit me again, even harder. "Stop spreading rumors. Be careful or I'll teach you a lesson." I had no choice to apologize and admit my mistake. "Hero Yang Chen, I'm sorry, please stop. We're still on a mission." Then, rubbing the 2 lumps on my forehead, I followed the angry Yang Chan to start the patrol. Yang Chan, relying on her rank, is stronger than me and Chen Shu. She demanded that we follow her instructions. Just as we were about to reach the playground, a strange gust of wind suddenly blew in. The wind carried particles from the plastic track. Then Yang Chen became surprised. These plastic particles flew off. How fast was it running? The speaker had no intention, but the listener took it seriously. I instantly thought, could there be a ghost on the playground? Then we immediately headed towards the playground to patrol. On the running track of the playground at this time, it was like a tornado had blown up. There was a loud rumbling sound mixed with dust. Seeing this, Cheng Su immediately took out her phone to check the information. This is someone who died suddenly from being punished to run. Anyone who enters the playground will be tempted to keep running until they die. Then they asked Yang Chan, "Is entering the playground a death sentence? What should we do?" Yang Chan then became serious. "Don't be reckless. There will always be a flaw. Watch my gesture. And I'm definitely someone who can't sit still." I immediately bent Yang Chan's finger. "Okay, Yang Chan, I got the instructions. I'll be right back." Then in their astonished gaze, I rushed toward the playground without hesitation. I caught up and looked. At that moment, the running ghost was drenched in sweat. He was panting heavily, as if he did 7 exhausting nights in a row. Then I approached him. Not only did I startle him, but I also gave him a friendly greeting. "Hello there, classmate." As expected, Ding Village Head Story. The running ghost is angry inside. Village Head Story. Ghost Energy. Head Story. Looking at the increased ghost energy story, I smiled and passed it. Then I mocked it. "Come on, classmate." Village Head Story. Then I pushed hard with my legs and instantly left it behind. "I'll go." The running ghost was insulted. Ghost Energy 88. Yang Chan, who saw this scene, was instantly stunned. She instinctively asked Chen Shu, the story at the village head. "Jiang Chen, is he really that powerful?" The village head story. "But Jiang Chen is even more ferocious than you think." Story. At this moment, the running ghost, stimulated, felt the ghost energy. Village head story. I instinctively lowered my head. I could see the running ghost was about to catch up, so I immediately came to a sudden stop. But the running ghost behind me couldn't stop in time, and with a loud thud, it crashed to the ground in front of me. Seeing this, I immediately mocked it. "Can't even stop. You're really useless. And tell him not to rush so much." Village head story. "Let me ask you something first, village head story. As long as you can bring it up, I'll let you handle it however you want." Upon hearing this, the running ghost immediately became excited. "Then you are doomed. There is nothing in this school I don't know about." Classmates. "I heard that your director Long strictly enforces school rules, ruthless and merciless, but he seems to be lacking in that area of village gossip. Is this true, village gossip?" Hearing this village gossip, running ghost couldn't help but laugh. Village gossip. Does that even need saying, village gossip? We all call him Head Down Dragon. The village story. Head Down Dragon, your impressive classmate. Such an elegant nickname, you're quite the talent. The village head. Did you come up with this nickname, classmate? Otherwise, how would have you running to death on the playground? The village head. At this moment, the village head story. A figure appeared in the nearby teaching building. The village head story. Full of murderous aura, village head story. The running ghost saw this village head story. Immediately screamed village head story. The running ghost was startled by the murderous aura, village head story. Ghost Guy 182. At this moment, I had a bright idea, village head story. Immediately shouted loudly towards that side, village head story. Lower head dragon, wet your pants, village head story. Took off pants and put on lipstick, village story. Should keep your voice down. Don't let the director hear story. Bow dragon, 10,000 people's bucket. Hash story. Stop it please, classmate story. At this time, the anxiously running ghost saw me getting more and more excited. Story. I don't know what it was anxious about. Village story. Suddenly kicked and shouting. Didn't you hear? I told you to stop talking. I smiled and dodged that 45-yard Bigfoot. Actually, I spoke so loudly to distract you, so that my two companions could get closer to you, village story. Sorry, classmate, village story. Just finished saying. The running ghost felt a chill down his spine. At that moment, Chen Su and Yang Chen's attacks arrived instantly. He immediately used the old man's front door technique. He sent Chen Su and Yang Chen flying, just as the running ghost was feeling proud. The next second, he discovered that the leg he had just used to attack was gone. At that moment, I touched its back and whispered, village head. Classmate, don't worry about not being able to stand. Village head. Let me help you up. Village head story. Then I stabbed it through the chest, village head story, and with a strong pull, I instantly split it in two. The running person reacted at this moment. Village head story. The ghost, knowing it was hopeless, cried out. Village head story. You sneaky old fox, you're not playing fair, village story. Ding, village story. Running ghost, evil ghost, death, village story. Ghostly R99 village. Yang Chen is amazing. With one move, he took down a high-level evil ghost. Yang Chen watched this scene and realized she had underestimated him before. Hearing the girl's compliments, I immediately responded humbly. It's all thanks to Commander Yang Chan's excellent leadership. When Yang Chen heard this, she immediately got angry. It was just killing an evil ghost, was not it? Stop being so sarcastic with me. She was still about to make a move, but suddenly she was drawn to a nearby factory. As the saying goes, never enter a widowed house. Village head story. Such a lonely piece of equipment must have something hidden inside. Village head story. Oh. Village head story. Truly worthy of Commander Yang. Village head story. Speak so smooth. Village head story. Yang Chen heard this and immediately got angry. Village head story. Yang Chen, are you looking for death? Village head story. Just listen to my command later. I pretended not to hear. I directly called out to Chen Xu to cooperate with me. Then I started looking around for a weapon I could use. I left Yang Chen aside. Then I found a good-looking utility pole by the road. It was long, thick, and sturdy. Quite satisfied, immediately used the extraordinary strength of the special agent and violently pulled up the utility pole. The story at the village entrance. He put it on his shoulder and shouted at the factory building. The story at the village entrance. Hey, the story at the village entrance. Is anyone inside the story at the village entrance? I'm coming in, the story at the village entrance. After saying that, he forcefully shoved it inside. The story at the village entrance. Then gave it a lift and it was done. Next, let's watch Sister Chen's story at the village entrance. Saw Chen should take out a paper crane. She chanted, as the clear light shines, evil shall retreat. Then the 1,000 paper cranes gradually materialized and flew into the air. They emitted a beam of light and shone towards the factory building. Seeing this, I immediately stepped forward, leaning over to take a closer look. I discovered that apart from sports equipment, there was nothing else. Nothing else. At the village head, then Yang Chen suddenly covered my mouth, saying, listen carefully, there's a strange sound. Then we followed the sound. At the village head, we found an old woman burning paper. She was muttering, please forgive me. She seemed to be repenting for something. This reminds me of the mission file, the village head story. One of the girls in the story was bullied and died because she burned paper. It was because of the village head story. Upon closer inspection, I noticed the old woman's mouth was soon shut. But how was she making that sound? Just as Chen Shu and Yang Chen were discussing it, I ran over to the fire and took off my pants. It was the village head story. Then I threw urine onto the fire. The aunt looked completely confused. After finishing, I pulled up my pants and said to her, Aunt, don't you know playing with fire is dangerous? Aren't you afraid of breaking the school rules? At that moment, the nervous aunt immediately told me to keep it down. I looked at her reaction. I smiled. Looks like the ghosts here are afraid of breaking the school rules. I can keep quiet if you prefer. But Auntie, the village gossip. Village gossip. There are so many girls in your girls' dorm. You know? Do you think you could introduce me to one? He, young man, isn't that simple. Which one do you like? Tell Auntie village head stories. Then introduce me to the one who jumped off the building. Auntie's glasses flew off in shock at the mention of the jumper. Village head stories. She exclaimed in terror, You want to kill me? Auntie, why are you so agitated? Could his death be related to you? A bloody murderous intent gradually filled Auntie's eyes. The needlework on Auntie's mouth snapped thread by thread. I've been praying every day for the past few years. What more do you want from me? Looking at the terrifying demonic aura emanating from the old woman, cold sweat kept breaking out on my face. This is a top-tier evil spirit. Seeing the old woman about to pounce on me, I immediately took out my demon transforming card. The transformed tiger vanguard appeared along with waves of chilling air. Then with a fierce and menacing look along with her cute little fang, the story immediately forced the aunt to step back a few paces. In the next second, the aunt's tongue suddenly grew longer and lunged, faced with the suddenly attacking tongue. I was What the hell is this? I did not have time to react. The story. I was struck directly by the incoming tongue. After regaining my composure, I wiped the wound. It didn't even give me a chance to look cool. This is too much. The evil ghost lady's tongue continued to attack me. Remembering the lesson from the village head's story, I swiped away the incoming long tongue with one claw. However, this thing was not only smooth but also resilient. I could only slam my long tongue to the ground and freeze it. Taking advantage of the moment, I rushed towards the old lady, but the old lady didn't panic at all. She chuckled and gave a swing. At that moment, the tongue froze into my back, was actually pulled up along with the floor by her. Before I could react, the village story hit me square in the back. Then it controlled its tongue and used concrete to attack me relentlessly. He just died obediently. At this point, I could only crawl on the ground, struggle and control my ability. Village story. Release skill ice prison. Village story. The old lady was trapped by countless ice spikes. Village head story. I just caught my breath and moved forward to check the situation. Unexpectedly the next second, with a loud crash, the ice prison shattered, and I was sent flying by the debris. I saw the old lady releasing a tremendous aura of ghostly energy, standing tall amidst it. After saying that, she immediately licked my chest. Licked it. Taking advantage of the moment she was airborne, I hurriedly used flowing mirror ice, freezing the ground under the old woman's feet into a sheet of ice. Sure enough, the next second, the old woman slipped without noticing. The loud scream made her fall down. I waited for the right moment and immediately jumped up, hoping to land a fatal blow on the old lady. But the old lady did not give me the chance. Instead, she started attacking me. As I dodged her attack, the old lady began spinning in place. She thought the slippery ground would trip me up. I was forced to quickly retreat. I withdrew from the range of the tongue's attack. The auntie also quickly turned around. I could only struggle to resist. Just when I was about to give up, Chen Xiu and Yang Chan appeared in front of me, helping me share the attack. Then Yang said, "We need to find a way to distract its attention, then find the flaw." "Alright, I'll listen to you." I wiped the wound and smiled. "Then let's show it our strength." Then Yang Chen and Chen Xiu continued attacking. I withdrew to look for the flaw. "Hey, why is your tongue so long?" I guess she must have loved gossiping when she was alive. I added, maybe that girl who was bullied was driven to suicide because of her. The woman instantly flew into a rage. She started spinning even faster. "What nonsense are you talking about? We were forced to retreat repeatedly. We did not even notice any flaws. Just when none of us knew what to do, suddenly a plane flew across the sky. It gave me an idea." I immediately smiled and looked at Yang Chan. I asked her to use her super strength to throw me up into the sky. "You all stay on the ground and try to attract his attention. Make him spin in place. Although I don't know what your intention is, but there's nothing I can do. I just have to hold on." "Go, you." I was suddenly thrown violently into the air. I wonder if the aunt has ever seen an ice cream falling from the sky. Then I started to form an ice spike in midair, then using gravity, I fell toward the spinning aunt. With a loud, the icicle pierced right through. Then I watched the old woman pierced by the ice cone. It worked. Before disappearing, the old woman mumbled, "I only gossip. Was that such a great sin? Gossiping ghost top tier evil spirit. Death ghost key at 199. Then Chengxi happily stepped forward and asked if I had any problems, but Yang Chen scolded me. "How dare you rush forward when facing such an evil ghost? You're really stupid." After dealing with the evil ghost aunt, we hadn't walked very far. The headset transmitted a distress signal requesting backup. There's more than one top tier evil spirit here. We were being surrounded. Upon hearing this, Yang Chen said anxiously, "Something happened on their side. We need to hurry and help." Chen Xu calmly advised Yang Chen, "Do not act impulsively. There says something off about this situation." Then I added, "There's definitely a problem. Kunzi didn't have good intentions when he assigned the tasks. You all still remember the rule about not violating school regulations. Logically, boys aren't allowed to enter the girls' dormitory. Yet Kinzi assigned Liu Kai and the others to go there. Isn't that the same as sending two of them, the boys, to their deaths? But Liu Kai and the others are also experienced B level. There's no way they couldn't notice something this subtle, right? B level. Rich personal combat experience doesn't mean rich team experience. You can tell this from how he actively complies with Kunzi's arrangements. The scene shifts to the sly Kunzi. They also successfully dealt with a vicious ghost. Kunzi wipes the blood from his hands. while listening to the distress calls coming through the headphones. Kun Fei was still relatively kind-hearted. He directly asked Kinzi Zijish, "Are we gonna help?" The smiling tiger gave a hum. "Of course we're gonna help. After all, it's my setup. However, before we go, we need to figure out what level of ghost we're dealing with. What are taboos? Zeke, is this still Dobo? I feel like their situation is really bad." When Kinzi heard this, he directly said, and then he went straight to, he gave a fierce look. After saying that, they went together to find the cause. The scene shifts back to half an hour ago. Lukai laughed lewdly in a carefree manner. He had dreamed of entering the girls' dormitory. They didn't go far before they saw the disciplinary ghost. It was radiating a terrifying ghostly aura with a stern face. Standing in the middle of the hallway, it said, "Girls' dormitory. Boys, stop." Then he extended his hand and pointed at Liu Kai, Yuria boy. He pointed at Jiangxi, Yuria boy too. Finally, he pointed at Sunjae. "You're carrying a prohibited knife. You three have seriously violated school rules. You must be severely punished." After saying this, he released a sinister aura toward them. "Leave an X mark on the three of their necks." Damn, I've been hit. Kunzi didn't mean breaking school rules in this way. I feel like my strength has been weakened. Liu Kai was still full of confidence at this moment. He instantly crushed the glass bottle in his hand. 3 against 1, we still have a chance of winning. Then the three of them launched attacks on the teaching ghost separately. With Liu Kai and the discipline ghost were evenly matched. Liu Kai confidently mocked the discipline ghost for overestimating itself. Meanwhile, the blood in Liu Kai's hand was slowly corroding the discipline ghost's hand. Seeing that he had the upper hand, he was still feeling pleased with himself, but the next second the discipline ghost gave him a chilling shock with its nose. Zany, standing nearby, saw the situation was dire and leaped forward to help. He saw the instructor ghost's nose directly, slice Liu Kai in half, then turned to face Jinx in midair. "I will use my black donkey's hoof to restrain him. Sister Sun, take action." At this moment, Sister Sun immediately rushed to strike at the instructor ghost's head. Who would have thought that the instructor ghost practiced Iron Head skill? The axe not only didn't leave a scratch, but it was also shaken and cracked in several places. At this moment, Sister Sun, drenched in cold sweat, grumbled, "What's the point of this? It can't even cut through. The power has been weakened too much by the mark." Enraged, the instructor ghost immediately tossed Jiangxi aside and charged toward Sister Sun in midair. With just one punch, it sent Sister Sun flying in midair. She was knocked away. Zhang broke out in a cold sweat as he saw this scene. He never expected this thing to be so powerful. He then felt relieved that he had managed to cling to its nose. As for other physical attacks, they were completely predictable. But in the next second, the ghost teacher seemed to see what he was thinking. The village chief's story immediately pulled the nose back. "Since you're so reluctant to part with it, I'll send the nose straight into your stomach," the village chief said, and once again the nose shot towards Jiangxi. This time it pierced through Jiangxi's stomach. Jiangxi never expected that the nose could be used like this. It can be described as fast, tough, accurate, and also retractable. Village head story. What Jiangxi would never know is that the village head story. This nose can actually bend and separate. Village head story. Then the nose started running wildly down the empty corridor. Village head story. In an instant it darted behind Sister Sun. Village head story. She was so scared she screamed loudly, "Village head story." Then the ghost teacher pounced at Sister Sun. Village head story. At that moment we received it. Village head story. Sister Sun's distress signal. Village head stories. Sister Sun jump. Village head stories. Dodging the guiding ghost's attack. Village head stories. At this time, Sister Sun saw that Busy was also waiting for an opportunity to ambush her. Understanding that she couldn't handle both, she decided to escape. Village head stories. And we, having received her distress signal. Village head stories. Arrived at the dormitory building. Story at the village entrance. Since we don't know what the situation inside is now, we could only observe the situation at the entrance. At the village entrance, the quick-witted and violent woman Yang Chan immediately reflexively struck it with a stick. At the village entrance, at the same time, Sister Sun's voice was heard. Story at the village entrance. Story at the village entrance. Yang Chan, you little brat. I'm Village story. Only that I realize. Village story. Sister Sun was followed by the guiding ghost and the nose monster. Village story. They stood in the darkness not far away watching us. Village story. After watching the nose monster for a while, its gaze returned to the guiding ghost. Village story. The guiding ghost turned and said, "You're lucky you got away." Village story. Next time you break the school rules, it won't be so easy. Village story. After the guiding ghost left. Village story. Sister Sun looked downcast and pouted. Village story. Hey, I originally planned to just tag along for a D mission. Village story. I didn't expect to be tricked by that bastard Qin Zi. Village story. I almost lost my life here. A village story. Saying this, he choked up. Village story. My two teammates are still inside. Village story, their fate is unknown. Seeing this, I quickly stepped forward to comfort her. Don't worry, sister sun. We'll go in and bring them out for you. At the village entrance, Chen Su immediately stopped me from going in. Jiang Chen? You scatterbrain. You just forgot the rules you analyzed yourself. The main story is boys going in violet school rules. The village entrance story is you'll be attacked by ghosts. Hearing this, I immediately felt embarrassed, pretending to be foolish with a shake of the head. Right? I'm not a lady. As soon as I said that, an idea suddenly popped into my mind. Ladyboy, can I cross-dress as a woman? Village story. Then I went outside. The story at the village entrance began to unfold. The story at the village entrance soon discovered a statue model. The story at the village entrance, the story at the village entrance, the model lady. The story at the village entrance, can I borrow the wig? So amid the laughter of Chen Shu and Yang Chan, I put on the wig and set off. Village story, then we followed Sister Sun. Village story, we followed the route they had taken. Village story, we started searching. Village story, soon we found Liu Kai's body. Village story, but where did Jiangxi go? Village matter, at this point Sister Sun spoke up, I don't know either. Village story, at the time, I was busy dealing with the teaching ghost. Village story, at this moment I stroke my chin. Village story, such a large dormitory building. Village story, it'll take forever to search it thoroughly. Village story, why don't we split up and look? Chengsu was startled. Jiang Chen? Split up and search, is that too risky? Yang Chen shivered at this moment. Chen Shu, don't be afraid, just follow. After all, I can still protect you. The village head made a joke. The village protects me. Forget how scared I was just now when Sister Sun frightened me. Village stories, Chengsu then pointed to look high on the ground. In village stories, besides, isn't he also at a village stories? Now he's lying there broken in two. At these words, Yang Chen was instantly speechless. Village stories, Ahia. Village story, Sister Chen. Village stories, don't panic. Village story, isn't there still me? Village story, if something happens, I'll be the first to rush over and protect you. Village story, seeing this, Chengsu helplessly let out an oh. Village story, alright then. Village story, after that, Chen Shu. Village story, Yang Chen, group 1. Village story, I'll go with Sister Sun and we'll search separately. Village story, let's split up and search. Village story, at this point, I was following Sister Sun and feeling a bit bored. Village story, Sister Sun, are you breaking the school rules? Village story, what kind of situation did you encounter before? Village story, can you tell me in more detail? When we came in, everything went smoothly. We did not encounter any problems. Wait a minute. Well, if I really had to say something. Unlike usual. Not long after they came in, I noticed Liu Kai and Jiangxi's. It looked like there were images stuck on their backs. Then they disappeared in a flash. I thought I was seeing things. Hearing this, I immediately looked at Sister Sun's back. Village story, Sister Sun. Village story, is that your profile picture behind you? Village story, I immediately channeled demonic energy into my hands. Village story, and pulled down the almost disappearing profile picture. Village, I'm scared to death. Village story, just now I felt that ghostly thing. Village story was trying to get into my body. Village story, at this time I studied the profile picture. Village story. Thankfully I found it early. Village story. It should be fine if I tear it off. Village story. After examining it, I casually threw away the picture, and I warned her, Sister Sun, be careful in the vicinity. Something might be wrong. A ghost might be watching us. But at that moment, a pair of pink. He picked up the avatar from the ground. At the edge of the village, an old broken doll appeared behind Jiang Chen. In a soft, hey, today is just my unlucky day. At the village edge, that yellow-haired guy was ahead of me. Now this one has been seen through. Saying that, he picked up the doll and dug out the doll's eyeballs. Story from the village, it's driving me crazy. This time I must play with you all to the fullest. Story from the village, and unaware Sister Sun and I. Story from the village, yet we smoothly made our way to the 3rd floor. At this moment, Sister Sun felt something was wrong. Zhangxi was so badly injured. It's impossible for him to have traveled this far. The story at the village entrance, I think it's the same. The story at the village entrance, could it be on Yang Chan's side? The story at the village entrance, just after we finished talking. The story at the village entrance, not far away, a figure with a transparent chest appeared. Upon closer inspection, holy crap, it's Yan. Sister Sun was so excited when she saw this. Story at the village head, Jang. Story at the village head, Jingxi, is that you? Story at the village head, how are you? Story at the village head, have you eaten? At this point, Jingxi said painfully, a son. At the head of the village, Sunji. Story at the village head. I haven't. There's nothing at the village entrance. Nothing at the village entrance, just, there's a little pain at the village entrance. My head. Sister Sun is so emotional. As long as it's nothing serious, Jiang Chen and I are here to take you home. I watched this scene feeling speechless. Isn't Sister Sun just being ridiculous? Zhangxi is already like this. The village head really thought nothing was wrong. But on the other hand, the village head took the opportunity to put on a show. The village head planned to expose the ghost controlling him. After that, Jiangxi struggled to approach us. I saw Sister Sun was about to help him up. I immediately grabbed Jiangxi's hand in front of Sister Sun. The story at the village entrance and warmly said, "The story at the village entrance, Brother Zhang. The story at the village entrance, you're fine. The story at the village entrance." And I can relax. At that moment I felt overjoyed inside, because I wanted to gather some ghost energy first. After all, encountering a ghost isn't easy. Next second, I casually chopped off the broom nearby. Village story, he forcefully stuck it into the ground. Village story, I heard you're the pole dancing king. Village story, how about we have a little contest? Village story, as expected. Village story, ding. Do a hammer move. Ghost power 50. At this moment, the red-haired ghost controlling from the shadows. Bamboo story, since you like. Village story, I'll stay and play with you. Village story, then Jiangxi began to perform. Village story, an amazing pole dance for us. Village story, I was happily cheering him on. Village story, Zhangji, let me help you. Village story, let me show you a flying move. Village story, then I pushed Jiangxi into the corner of the wall. Seeing this, I immediately ran to the village entrance. At the village entrance, Brother Zhang. Truly impressive. The final moment when it flew out, that was a very high level of difficulty, to disrupt the controller's footing. I continued. Village story, Brother Zhang, I also heard you're pretty good at freestyle dancing. Village story, let's brothers do a dance. Then he started freestyling with Jiangxi. Village story, meanwhile Sister Sun was completely bewildered. Village story, what are these two old men doing? Soon, Jiangxi was so tired he was out of breath. Village story, his puppeteer also complained. This damn? You've even worn out the ghosts? Another awkward moment. Then Jiangxi saw a figure in her mind's eye. At this point she was also exhausted. Damn it. My hands are almost crippled. I'm not playing anymore. The story at the village head, ding. The story at the village head, why was I so stupid? The story at the village head, going to dance awkwardly. The story at the village head, eerie energy 206. The story at the village head, the system prompt is about to appear. The story at the village head, I feel an eruption is coming. The story at the village head, the eerie energy hasn't been fully filled yet. The story at the village head, then I immediately hugged Jiangxi. The village story, Zhangji, how about another striptease? Then with the asterisk whoosh asterisk, I ripped all his clothes off, completely naked, even his underwear. At that moment Sister Sun next to me could only awkwardly hide behind me. Village story, I saw that every joint on Jiangxi's body showed traces of needle and thread mending. Village story, I didn't expect that Zij was actually a Furui fan. Village story, upon hearing this, the female ghost controlling behind the village suddenly erupted in rage. Village story, what's wrong with being a Furui fan? Village story, at the same time, Jiangxi's body continuously swelled, twisted, and deformed. Anyone who mocks Furui fans deserves to die. The basin at the village entrance, its body gradually becoming furry. The story at the village entrance eventually turned into a giant doll. The story at the village entrance, the two of us standing. The story at the village entrance, ready to take action at any moment. The story at the village entrance, what was meant to happen still came. The story at the village entrance, get ready to act. Sister Sun, upon seeing this, immediately became excited. She tore off her belt and wrapped it around her hands. Story at the village head, this way I can strike without any hesitation. Village head section, Sister Sun quickly throws a punch. Village head scene, the punch lands directly on the doll's head, but the punch feels like hitting rubber. It's soft and completely absorbs the force. Then the doll quickly counters with a punch. Sister Sun, she avoids the attack. Sister Sun's palm transformed into a sharp blade. She immediately slashed the doll's head. The doll from the village fell to the ground the moment it was torn apart. In the next second, it instantly rose and stood in front of Sister Sun. The doll from the village was terrified, its hair standing on end. I stayed behind observing and analyzing the situation. At this moment, I noticed many lines surrounding the doll. The doll from the village was being controlled by ghostly energy. At the village entrance, upon seeing this, I immediately entered General Yin's mode. I rushed forward and severed the line connecting the ghostly energy. At this point, the evil spirits hiding behind the scenes were panicking. At the village entrance, damn it, it's been seen through. Then I placed my fingers over my eyes and made a gesture. I roared, you all must. Village story, a laser cannon shot out from the doll's mouth. A village story, it pierced through several layers of the ceiling. At this moment, Chengsu and Yang Chan upstairs. Village story, they were also startled by the sudden laser, screaming in panic. Village story, the laser continued to pierce through the floors. Village story, it shot directly toward the sky. Village story, illuminating the dark night sky. Village story, you destroyed the toy that the cursed spirit ghost loves most. Village story, ghostly aura, 108. The cursed spirit is roaring at this moment. You broke my... I'll turn you into my toy. Village story, watching the pink ghostly aura rushing towards me. Village story, I smiled inwardly. The village story, it finally couldn't hold back and came out. Then I grabbed the pink thread and pulled it hard. I dragged the cursed spirit out of the shadows at the village head. Village story, don't be shy. Village story, come here and let big brother give you a good hug. At this time, the cursed spirit I was holding showed a shy expression. Then I grabbed her hand. Little rascal, was it you? Controlling the doll from behind. After I finished speaking, I perversely stuck out my tongue. The village story began to lick his dexterous hand. The village story, such dexterous hands, how could they do such a wicked thing? The village story, what's going on? The village story, the cursed spirit remains calm. The village story, cursed energy 0. The village story, this is the first time this has appeared. At this time, the cursed spirit laughed. Why don't you take a look at what my other hand is doing? The village story, when it was mentioned, I immediately panicked. The village story, I saw his other hand controlling the pink ghostly energy. The pink ghostly energy charged directly towards Sister Sun. Then to Sister Sun's shock, it transformed into a large net. It covered above Sister Sun. Then it rapidly shrank, trapping Sunjane within. At the village head, the cursed spirit hissed at that moment. Little brother at the village head, if you move the baby again, your friend will become minced meat. Hearing this, I immediately grabbed her hand. The villager at the head laughed. It's all right. She's not my friend anyway. At the village entrance, sister, do as you please. At this moment, the cursed spirit ghost immediately panicked and said, how could this be? Weren't you all together? At the village entrance, the story he. At the village entrance, what? Are you some kind of fool? Do you think everyone who came together is a friend? At the village entrance, once these words were spoken, the story at the village head instantly triggered a deep memory within the cursed spirit. The story at the village head. Ding. The story at the village head. The cursed spirit's memories were stirred. The story at the village head. Ghost energy 400. The story at the village head. Then a scene was transmitted. The story at the village head. It turns out she was one of the participants in the rooftop bullying incident back then. The story at the village head. One of the participants in the rooftop bullying incident. The story at the village head. One of the participants. How did she fall? When Muji fell from the building, she started to panic. What should we do? Are we going to prison? At this moment, the other two participants smiled and said, it's fine. As long as we stick to the story that she is. At story, it would have been fine if she'd just fallen. Village story, yes. Village story, sticking to that story would have been fine. However, the next day, the other two participants called the police and framed her. Village story, as she got into the police car, she still expected to be asked. Village story, weren't we together? The story at the village entrance, and the girl with the bun mocked. The story at the village entrance, does being together mean you're friends? The girl with green hair also added a jab. Who believes she fell on her own? The story at the village entrance, the two girls watched as he was taken away by the police. The story at the village entrance, and still added one last blow from behind. The story at the village entrance, there's nothing to be done. The story at the village entrance, you'll have to take the fall for this. At the village entrance, the story takes place on the way to the police station. At the village entrance pavilion, she sits in the car. At the village entrance, she looks at the teddy bear placed on the car. At the village entrance, she regrets. At the village entrance, if I could start over, I would rather be friends with the toy than ever trust anyone again. At the village entrance, but the next second, the story at the village head, the police car was hit by a large truck. The story at the village head, he was also thrown out of the car. The story at the village head, before dying, she looked at the doll. The story at the village head, pouting. The story at the village head, the doll is so nice. The story at the village head, she reached out to grab the doll. The story at the village head, her consciousness gradually faded. The story at the village head, at least it wouldn't hurt me. At the village entrance, he ultimately died from the car accident after unsuccessful resuscitation. At the village entrance, he died in that car accident. At the village entrance, after death, he turned into an evil spirit and returned to the school. At the village entrance, after recalling his memories, at the village entrance, he kept sneering. You are right. After speaking, he immediately controlled the ghostly energy and said, since he is not your friend. Village story, then I'll kill him for you first. Village story, the ghostly energy continuously tightens around Sister Sun. Village story, and accompanies Sister Sun's painful groans. Village story, seeing this, I couldn't help but burst out with a swear word. Village story, damn it. Village story, what the hell? Village story, not following the script. Village story, at this moment, Sister Sun realized something was wrong. Kunta endured the pain, secretly reaching into his pocket to take out something. Kunta took out a glass bottle containing a red. Then Sister Sun, without hesitation, smashed the bottle. The liquid instantly splashed everywhere. The red liquid directly covered. The village story, the evil spirit binding him was corroded and broken. This scene scared the cursed spirit into a cold sweat. The village story, what the hell is that? The autumn story, evil. The village story, at this time Sister Sun excitedly broke free from the evil spirit. The village story, the black dog blood stolen from Liu Kai really worked. Then the black dog blood followed the evil spirit. The village story eroding towards the cursed spirit. The village story, the cursed spirit's hand was immediately. The village story corroded, it cried out in pain. Seeing this, I immediately stepped forward and feigned a brave attempt to comfort it. Little darling, does it hurt? I'll help you right away. The village story, the cursed spirit, top tier evil spirit died. The village story, watching the cursed spirit die. Village story, I was so happy. Village story, this is actually my first time not. Village story, only transforming a demon, but also killing a top tier evil spirit. Village story, afterward I awkwardly started explaining to sister's son. Village story, sister's son. A village story, I'm really sorry about earlier. Sister's son, who is understanding, didn't hold it against me. She even said that if he had really killed me just now, it only shows my incompetence. Just as I want to explain, suddenly a rustling cry for help came from my earphones. Zhang Qing. Come sit. We're on the 5th floor. The water's coming. Sister's son immediately ran towards the 5th floor. The story at the village head, yet I look up at the figurines. The story at the village head, the laser piercing through the ceiling. The story at the village head, then I gather strength and leap through. The story at the village head, the hole in the ceiling, aiming for the 5th floor. I land and immediately step onto a patch of water. This school has been abandoned for so long? Where did this water come from? The story at the village head, this makes me look around in confusion, looking at the water beneath my feet. If it's caused by a ghost, stepping into it might be dangerous. Water. Oh, I still have that Bundabaroba card? Thinking this, I immediately transformed into Baburba. Ding. Village story, extracting divine powers. Village story, demon rain technique. At this moment, looking at my transformed body, I was speechless. What the hell is this? It must be because I am wearing a wig. Village story, meanwhile. Village story, in a corner on the 5th floor. Village story, a floating water ball appeared. Village story, Yang Chan and Cheng Su are trapped in the water balloon. At this moment, Yang Chan was desperately poking at the water balloon with a weapon. Although the weapon could pierce the water balloon just wouldn't burst. As soon as the weapon was pulled back, the water balloon returned to its original shape. How pitiful's my once great reputation. I was supposed to be a hero today, but now I'm about to become a drowned ghost. I wonder if Jiang Chen received my sub. Just as Cheng Su was praying for me to save her, sure enough, the next second I appeared before them. Then I leaped into the air and slashed, breaking the water sphere. I saved these two little darlings. Who would have thought that Yang Chan, this girl, would be so unruly? She was just rescued, and immediately jumped on me, which made me feel a bit awkward. Then Cheng Su stepped in to help me out, saying, "Aren't you supposed to be strong? Why aren't you pretending now?" And he warned me that the 5th floor is haunted by a female ghost who can manipulate water. You must be careful. I immediately shivered and said, "It's okay. I'm not afraid of water anymore, brother." Then I swaggered off to find the water ghost. Ghost sister. Ghost beauty. Village story, where are you? Village story, come out. Village story, big brother will play with you in the water. Village story, I slowly walked towards the place with more water. Village story, at this moment, water droplets kept falling from above. Village story, suddenly a drop of water landed on my clothes. Village story, it caught my attention. Village story, so I instinctively looked up. The story at the village entrance, I saw the female ghost crouching on the ceiling. In the village story, I saw her still smiling and sticking out her tongue at me. A story about her head acting cute. Doing things. Brother, are you sure you want to play in the water with me? Seeing this, I immediately grabbed her head and pulled it down. Little baby, why is your whole body so wet? Why do not you take better care of yourself? Village head story, you could catch a cold like this. Village head story, come on, be good. Get down. Brother will help you lick the water dry. Village head story, after saying that, I began to hug the water ghost and lick diligently. Ding. The water ghost was lightly touched. Ghost energy 120. At this moment I realized. The water ghost shyly screamed. At the village entrance I grinned and asked the water ghost. The village entrance story, sweetheart, is it? The village entrance story, standing isn't comfortable. The village entrance story, let's change positions then. After changing positions with the water ghost, I grabbed the water ghost face. Then you lick. Do whatever feels comfortable. I saw she didn't move for a long time, so I pulled out its tongue. Lick me. Don't just stay still. At this moment, the water ghost finally couldn't take it anymore. In an instant, a stream of water formed in my mouth. The next second, it shot toward me. I licked the water off my face. Sister, you were willing to play water with me. And it's even Saliva, village chief. I really like it, village chief. Then I applied some force. Sister's water gun is not enough, village chief story. Look at my village head story. A jet of water shot out from it, village head story. It instantly blasted the water ghost away. It fell to the ground cursing. Then I took a quick step forward, right in front of the water ghost. I heard you were not afraid of physical attacks. Is that true? I grinned wickedly. Then let me try it too, village head stories. Suddenly a drop of water appeared floating before me. Instantly it shot towards me like a bullet. I nimbly ducked to avoid it. Then many water droplets transformed into bullets constantly attacking me. I dodged while looking back. I saw these water droplets continuously forming. The continuous shots are coming at me. Village story. I know that hiding like this is useless. Village story. I noticed that the female ghost wasn't doing anything. Village story. This means the water droplets aren't being controlled by her. Village story. It seems the water droplets are attacking on their own. Just as I was puzzled. Village story. I saw the shoulder that was first hit by the water droplets. It is I understand. I see. Village head. Then I'll follow your plan. Village head. The next second I disappeared into the water. At this moment, the water ghost hurriedly started searching for me. While the water ghost was searching for me, I suddenly threw my coat over the water ghost, then it flew out of the water. Sister, the story of the village head. I see you're soaking wet. The story of the village head. I'm afraid you will catch a cold. The story of the village head. Do not be polite. The story of the village head. Put it on. The story of the village head. At this moment, the water ghost panicked, because the attack point she marked was right on the clothes. The story of the village head. In the next moment, countless water bullets were shot at the water ghost. The water ghost roared helplessly. How could this happen? The story. Water ghost sister, did not expect this. I used my demonic energy to block your mark first, so the water drop could not locate the target. Then to prevent you from controlling the water droplets, I hid in the water, telling the village story. After putting the clothes on you, I immediately removed the evil energy, telling the story of the head. Then I saw the water droplets continue to attack. Incredible. It's truly a fight to the death. Ding, the water ghost has died. Ghost 500 village story. The cost was a bit high this time. Village story. I was already poor. Village story. And I ruined a piece of clothing. Village story. Then another system prompt sounded. Ding. Congratulations, host. Ghost Kai has exceeded 5,000 points. Would you like to use 1,000 points to upgrade the system? At this moment, I looked at the system panel with a pained expression. Village head story. Is this too much? Village head story. What are the benefits of upgrading village head story? Will I get a girl? Village head story? Host, you're thinking too much. Village head story. After upgrading, the enhancement function will be unlocked. Village head story. Ding, system upgrading village head story. At this time, the teaching ghost hiding in the shadows, but he was secretly observing my strength at the village entrance. But little did he know, I had already noticed him. The village entrance story. At this moment, Yang Chan and Cheng Su also rushed over after hearing the sound. Has that female ghost been dealt with? Of course. Little kid, Chen Si asked with concern. Jiang Shen must be exhausted. Village head story. Sit down and rest for a bit. Village head story. This isn't something that can be easily handled. Village head story. No need. Village head story. Then I put my arms around the two of them. With my physique, I could handle it with both of you. I could go 7 times in one night, no problem. I'm not like some who bow their heads. At a crucial moment, you're so cowardly. Instantly, the hidden story immediately jumps out angrily. Your private lives are immoral, a serious violation of school rules. I declare that you're all going to die. After saying that, his nose instantly turned into a cannon barrel. Then a ghost energy cannonball was fired. Village head stories. It exploded immediately. Village head. This shot was pretty powerful. Village head stories. It directly knocked Yang Chan and Chen Su unconscious. Village head stories. Such a strict headmaster. I really like them. Village head stories. And charged towards the ghost guide. I didn't expect this low-headed dragon to have such an incredibly powerful nose. The village story shot directly towards me. The village story. I immediately blocked it with a punch. I managed to deflect, then it turned into a whip. It lashed at me. I quickly stepped back and distanced myself. The story grinned wickedly. Since the director likes it so much, a blade. Then I'll draw my knife too. Then I used the demon rain technique, transforming into horn. His forehead began to change constantly. A longhorn grew out. Your violent violation of school regulations adds to your crime. Then we fall like men. Village story. Seeing that we were evenly matched, the teaching ghost retracted his nose. He switched to using a cannon barrel, fired a ghost energy cannon at me. Village head story. I dodged and angrily said, damn you. You actually fired a cannon at me. Village head story. Then let's see whose cannon. Village head story. The stronger village head story. Then I taught the ghost a lesson and it was blown to bits. Village head story. What I didn't expect was, I still underestimated them. The ghostly teacher, that old trickster, split his nose off. Just when I was in the heat of the battle, the nose monster launched a surprise attack on me, just as I was about to be ambushed successfully. Luckily, Sister Sun arrived at the village entrance. She immediately punched the nose monster and helped me out of the situation. Then in the next second, Sister Sun was pierced through the chest by the nose monster's blade. Blood began to pour out of her mouth. Damn it, it seems I was careless this time. But, even if I'm weak, the story still has the power to drag you down with me. Sister Sun forcefully grabbed the nose monster's body. Then she quickly punched the nose monster. Do you think my black chicken skin Exorcism Fist is a decoration. With a powerful punch, she knocked the nose monster to the ground. The ground was shattered. The nose monster was beaten to pieces. After using this strike, Sister Sun also fell into a coma. I turned to look at Sister Sun. I regretted underestimating the enemy this time. Then I angrily faced forward again and stared at the teaching ghost. If I can't kill him with one strike, the next one to die will be me. At this moment I secretly used my skill, Bowling Hell Village Story, silently walking towards the guiding ghost. You don't even have a nose anymore, Village Story. How do you intend to fight me now, Village Story? The guiding ghost whom I taunted immediately grew 5 eyes and slowly began to grow larger. He sneered, you think, without a nose, you'll be my opponent. Knave. Seeing this, I directly manipulated the rainwater, and it continuously dripped onto the giant body of the teaching ghost, immediately causing it to panic. But the next second, seeing that the rain wasn't harmful, he chuckled and said, is this just a little rain of Village Story? Are you trying to give me a bath of Village Story? Hearing this, I kindly warned him, hey. However, this is 106-degree rainwater, you know. As I finished speaking, the rain dropped onto his hand, steaming hot. The next second, I yelped from the burn. My body slowly to red. I must be cooked. Ding. Ghost Instructor burned Village Story. Ghost Guy 230 Village Story. Ding Village Story. The teaching ghost was scalded to death. Village Head Story. Ghost Guy 108 Ghost Kai 100. Looking at the teaching ghost lying on the ground already half-cooked, I smiled and once again cultivated horns. Let me help you get fully cooked. Then, accompanied by my nod kill. Ding. Teaching ghost top tier evil spirit death. Ghost 200. Looking at the system prompt, I finally caught my breath, removed the transformation. I'm exhausted. Just as I was about to check the ghostly energy, Yang Chan and Shinx suddenly woke up, calling my name. You two sure know how to time it, Village Head. At this point, they also noticed the deceased Sister Sun not far away, Village Head Story. Chenshi couldn't help but sigh. I originally just wanted to latch on a group task, but ended up risking my life instead. Then Yang Chen also complained with a serious face. The strength of the ghost Chong was clearly assessed wrong, Village Head Story. This is something we can't solve, Village Head Story. Just when they didn't know what to do. To give a slice of my... What are you even worried about? As the saying goes, if you have come, then make yourself at ease. After saying that, I elegantly turned and waved my hand, signaling them. Don't be afraid, I'm here for you, I said. Chenshu and Yangchen smiled when they saw how open-minded I was. They followed behind me and began searching for the next ghostly figure. The scene shifted to the rooftop. Kunzi with his 2 lackeys stood at the village entrance. He was facing a female ghost. At this moment, the female ghost trembled. She was bleeding green liquid from all 7 orifices. Clearly, she wasn't as friendly as me. But Kinsey with a smile said, I'll give you one last chance. What's the woman's name? The female ghost refused to speak no matter what. She even reminded them about the village's story. If the story is told, everyone will end up on the execution block. Seeing that he could not get any answers, Kun Feiyang immediately grabbed a dagger and threatened, since you're gonna die anyway, tell us the story. We'll make it quick. Hearing the threat, the ghost woman laughed wildly as if she had gone crazy. She burst into laugh. Since you all want to lay on the board so badly, then let it be as you wish. Listen carefully. Her name is Bei Ling. As soon as the female ghost finished speaking, her head instantly separated from her body. It was as if a sword energy appeared out of thin air. Village Head Story. Kunzi and the others were shocked. They watched as the headless body slowly toppled. Village Head Story. Then a pair of feet appeared and kicked the female ghost's head away. Village Head Story. Who Village Head Story? Who called me old lady Village Head Story? All that could be seen was a blood-soaked face, making it impossible to recognize the original appearance of the ghost at the village head. Then it quickly caught the collapsing body of the ghost. It opened its mouth and bit down. It tore off a piece. Who was it that called my name just now? The Village Head Story. This scene frightened Qin Feiying, causing him to break into a cold sweat. It was so even ghosts are eating, and our young master Qin isn't faring any better. This is at least a village ghost story. Half a village ghost story. A half-step ghost level village ghost story. Qin is more direct. Boss? Let's withdraw. But nothing. It's already eaten half of its upper body. Kunhai urge anyway, it's just a C-grade mission. Even if we give up, there's no real loss. But Qin that fool said, it's fine, we still have the Blood Sun Pill. Why be afraid of it? The Blood Sun Pill can let you. It unleashes a tremendous physical power in a short time, but it also has serious side effects on the body. Then Kunhai took out a Blood Yang pill. Without hesitation, he threw it into his mouth, because if he could complete the mission ahead of schedule, Kunzi would be able to enter the martial sect. The Kun family now. We desperately need a leader. Village Head Story. After Kunai took the elixir, a golden ore emanated from his body. Head Story. Baling was also about to finish off the female ghost. Overhead Story. Seeing Qin He immediately clenched his fist and charged forward. At that moment Chen Su and I, Yangchan village head story. But from far away I saw the village head story. A golden and a red aura rising village head story. Soaring in the sky village head story. Only Kinsey's team remains now. Who else could it be if not them? Although he's a bit of a fool, he's still from a prestigious family. He said story. We'd better go help them quickly. As soon as these words came out, the two girls instantly flew into a rage. Our Chen family Yang family are no worse than his Qin family. What are we afraid of? Besides that Kinsey that dog killed Sister Sun's whole team. And he expects me to forget about it village story. I'm afraid that if we help him, he'll turn around and bite us. Village story. Then Chen Shu patted my shoulder and comforted me. Jiang Shen, don't worry. Yang Shan and I will have your back. Don't be afraid of the Qin family. For the sake of the ghostly energy, I spoke against my true feelings. We must be merciful. What happens with Kinsey's is business. We still need to take action when it's necessary. After saying that, I rubbed my stomach. Oh no, the village head story. After fighting so many battles just now, the village head story. I'm so hungry I feel weak all over. The village head story. Yang Chen and Chen Shu heard this. They smiled knowingly. Weird. Let's go out for a late night snack at village head story. Recharge our energy at village head story. Then we'll go rescue someone at village head story. Next we arrived at the 24-hour Dog Day chicken shop at village head story. Each of us got an orphan skewer at village head story. The scene returns to the rooftop. Kunhai, who had just charged forward, froze. He saw that Bai Ling, having eaten the female ghost, had evolved from a near to a full-fledged vengeful ghost. Village head stories. Kunzi and the others were instantly panicked. This is a freaking vengeful ghost. What the hell are we doing? Retreat village head stories. The three of them ran like the wind. It disappeared in an instant. Village head story. Isn't this a bit disrespectful to the vengeful ghost village head story? The next second, the vengeful ghost Bai Ling instantly appeared in front of Kun Feiying, the fastest. Village head story. The fastest one, right? Village head story. You're the fastest, right? Village head story. Then I'll start with you. Story. Then he grabbed Kun Feiying's neck. He plunged his hand into Kun Feiying's body. Kun Feiying's death scene. Village story. At this time Kunhei saw this. He still wanted to go up and rescue him. Village story. Relying on the golden pill he had taken, he clashed with the fierce ghost, and he called Kunzi to help. Kunzi heard this and smirked, while rummaging through his pocket. Hold on for a moment. He then took out a sound drum bought from the black market. He struck the drum directly. The drum sound spread outward. At this moment, Kunhai couldn't help but ask Z, why have you locked us down too? At this moment, Kunzi smugly said to Kinhei, I bet I can't hold you. How'd I escape? Sorry, little brother. Village story. Damn it. Aren't we here to do the mission together? Village story. I'm your cousin, village story. What good does it do you if I die? Village story. How could it be missing? My dear brother, village head story. You dying could buy me some time to escape, village head story. And sister-in-law? I'll also help you with some pleasures, village head story. He, village head story. Enough talking, village head story. The magic drum's effect is about to wear off. I won't say much more. Village head story. You have to work hard, okay? Bye. Village head story. After Kinsey finished speaking, he walked towards the door. Village head story. Soon the ghost opened its eyes. It's easy to imagine what Kinhei's ending was. At this time Kunzi, but he had already escaped to the stairwell. Village head stories. Listening to Kinhei's screams. Village head stories. Still pouting. Village head stories. What a good for nothing. Village head stories. He gave up so quickly. Village head stories. And we had just finished our late night snack. Returning to school we heard Kinhei's screams. Village head stories. Then Shen exclaimed, even Kinsey and his two brothers are so strong it's still not working. The village is in chaos. Should we call Yin-Ka for help? When I heard help, how could I agree? I still need to collect the ghost energy. I held on them both again. Yu Dao said since they've already suffered so much, we still have to save them, right? Let's go. Let's go inside and take a look at the village head story. I followed them inside, heading toward the village head story. Then we arrived in an empty and quiet corridor. I immediately shouted loudly, hey village head story, is anyone here wanting a midnight snack? At this moment, Kunzi, that bastard, was hiding in a corner. Look at us, the story at the village entrance. Then he grabbed a handful of dirt from the ground and smeared it on his face. It made him look miserable, so that he could appear as though he had been through a fierce battle. After finishing, he rushed out. The story at the village entrance. Great, the story at the entrance. You all came just in time. Then he pointed upstairs. There's a vengeful ghost upstairs. We've already severely injured him. Hurry up and stop him from recovering. Hearing that, how could I believe this smiling tiger? Such a good thing. Then why didn't young Master Qin go and finish him off himself? At this time, Kunzi pretended to be seriously injured and coughed several times. If it weren't for my serious injuries, the story from the village. How could I let you have it so easily? The story from the village. That is a powerful vengeful spirit. Not only would slaying it give you huge points, the story from the village. You could also join a hidden sect. The story from the village. Once at the top. The village, and at this moment Kunzi was really getting into it. He was almost losing himself. The story from the village. Brother Jiangchen, the village head's story. As long as you take care of Beiling, the village head's story. Don't forget to look after me a little in the future. As soon as the name was mentioned, the village head's story. The vengeful ghost appeared not far behind him. Chen Su and Yang Chen were both scared. We gathered together. We watched as the vengeful ghost slowly walked toward us. And muttering, "Who was calling my name just now?" At that moment I also felt threatened. This is the first time I've seen such a fierce ghost, but as the vengeful spirit got closer and closer, the ghostly presence also grew stronger. The village head's story. So I couldn't help but burst into louder. This is some crazy shit. The village head's story. He's my god of wealth, the village head's story. But Kinsey doesn't think so. He looks at me, laughing wildly, the village head's story. He thinks I've been scared silly. Then this bastard Kins tried to use this to stall the evil spirit. Slowly he took out her magic drum. The next second, I just used my finger to tap the drum head. Village head stories. With the spread of the sound waves, we were all frozen in place. Two story. What no one knew was, how fang it. The drum sound not only didn't harm me, village head stories, but it caused my body to resonate. Ding. My abilities resonated with the special expert's Kuntu. Abilities increased by 5% Kuntu. At that moment Kunzi saw that we were all frozen in place. He immediately turned and ran away. Kunta story. Unexpectedly I, who wasn't affected by the demonic sound, patted him on the shoulder and leaned in close. Young Masterkin's drumming skills are top-notch. Sounds good. Can you do it a few more times? At that moment Kunzi was instantly stunned. How is this guy immune to the demon sound? Seeing that he was ignoring me, I immediately grabbed his neck. Young Masterkin, do not be so stingy. It's just a few drum beats. At this moment Kunzi immediately interrupted me. What the hell? The ghosts are going to wipe out your teammates. I looked ahead. Then kicked Kinsey, that dog, and sent him flying. The ghost was slowly approaching at this time. I figured. Star cards. Probably wouldn't help. It seems I'll have to use the 2-star Lulai Daxian transformation card. Without hesitation I transformed into Lulai Daxian. Using a 2-star transformation card for the first time really is different. Not only are my acupoints filled with powerful energy, but and even my head are brimming with power. Ding. Drawing divine ability. Demon beast. Small ponder. This feeling. I could instantly kill the teaching ghost slow head dragon. So satisfying. At this moment, the immobilizing effect of the demonic sound just ended. The ghost of history groggily stood up and immediately questioned us. Who was it just now? Who called my name? After saying that, she instantly appeared in front of Yang Chan. He's a little sister. How could you know my name? At this moment, the evil spirit also realized. That makes sense. So it lunged at the nearby Chen Shu. It's not her. Then it must be you. At that moment, Cheng Su was instantly scared and screamed. Just as the evil spirit's claws were about to grab Chen Shu, I blocked it with a palm thunder strike. I stopped. Then I patted Cheng Su's shoulder. To comfort her, it's okay, I'm here. The ghost at this moment was a little dazed by my thunderbolt. Ding. Is this a Sichuan girl? Why does it feel a little numb? Ghost energy 180. Seeing this, I immediately said timidly, big sister, how is the electrotherapy? No need for 998. Only 180. The ghost didn't bother me. I thought the power was low, so I increased the power and gave the ghost lady another jolt. This time, it directly knocked the stunned ghost back several meters. Only then did it react. The vengeful spirit looked at its hands, which were hurt by the electric shock, as if recalling some bad memories. It roared, why does everyone bully me? And released a strong surge of ghostly energy. Ding. I want you all to suffer like I do. Ghostly energy 600. Then it viciously lunged at me. Seeing this, I immediately used my special skill, the Penny's Dragon Claw. I took it down directly and pulled the vengeful spirit down onto my body by its waist, making it stick close to me. The next second, I reached my hand towards the vengeful spirit's face. You pervert? What do you want to do? Big baby. I'm not doing anything, just asking you something. Why are you suddenly angry? Is it because we teamed up to bully you? You're wrong. It's because you're angry and want to kill us. We were just teaming up to guard against you. At this moment, the ghost, drenched in cold sweat from my question, involuntarily asked me back, why would I be angry? I pointed at its brain. Now you need to use that little brain of yours and think carefully. At this moment, the ghost stupidly said, I just remembered, someone called my name. Smart? Correct? So what do you want to do now? Then the ferocious ghost roared. Of course I'll kill the person who dared to call this old lady's name. Meanwhile, Zip was hiding to the side, secretly watching me. But he doesn't know I'm setting him up. At this moment, he's still smirking. He wants us to waste more time, so he can play the part of the yellow sparrow, picking up the cheap deals behind our backs. But I turned around and pointed at him. Look, that person was just shouting Big Sister's name. You should go quickly. Damn it. Jiang Shen, you son of a bitch. Since you're in cahoots with a ghost, Kunzi was swearing while running. When I get back, I'll use the Qin family's power to kill you, you damn dog. Even Qin Fang can't outrun this vengeful ghost. What's more, she can, only to see a vengeful ghost instantly block Kunzi's escape. At this moment, Kunz instinctively pulled out his magic drum and struck it. However, with his spiritual energy depleted, he didn't succeed. Seeing the vengeful ghost opening its bloody maw, slowly approaching him, then the vengeful ghost intimately touched Kunz's head. Was it you calling me just now? Kunzi bastard is really insidious. Even now, he's still thinking of evil schemes. The next second, Kunzi pulled out a revolver, cocked it, and shot the devil in the head. In one smooth, this fluid act shows how many people he's deceived. To have mastered such speed. Unexpectedly, the vengeful spirit wasn't injured. Instead, it pulled a bullet from its mouth. Seeing this, Kunzi, who was fleeing, he exclaimed, "The exorcism bullets worth 10,000 points each can't even hurt him. This person is definitely a ruthless ghost." He then broke the glass and jumped outside. Still felt uneasy, so he crawled into a small grove nearby. He found a place with dense branches and leaves to hide. Soon he saw the fierce ghost walking by. He tried his best to cover his mouth and nose, reducing his breathing, to avoid being discovered. Just as the ghost seemed to be moving away, suddenly a bolt of lightning struck him. He cried out in pain. At this time, I, standing in the tree, smiled apologetically and said, "Master Kind, sorry. I said I was trying to ambush the evil spirit. Do you believe I missed and hit you?" At this moment, Kunzi, who was about to curse, realized that the evil spirit had already seen him. He immediately ran away. My life is more important. As for Jan, there will be 10,000 ways later to get rid of him. As Kunzi was escaping, I caught up with him from behind and comforted Kunzi. "Don't be afraid. I'll help." But he didn't appreciate it. He was just running away with his head down. Out of kindness, I decided to speed him up, so I gave him another palm strike. One strike didn't seem enough. After all, he's a young master, right? So I followed up with another one. Damn it, I even land a proper hit. Is this what you call speeding up? Are you trying to attack me? At this moment, I smiled and reminded Kunzi, "Young master, sorry, I'm still not very skilled, but you should watch out behind you." Kunzi turned around and discovered he had already been cornered against the cliff, but the female ghost had already slowly moved closer to him. At this point, Kunzi decided to climb up the slope nearby first and wait for help. He didn't expect that just after running a few steps, he was blocked by me on the only path. At this moment, Kunzi was panting heavily. "Brother, let's talk this through. Hurry, let me pass. My Kin family will definitely reward you handsomely later." "Young Master Kin, what do you mean? I'm here to save you. Given our relationship, even if I didn't have money, I would still help." Hearing this, Kunzi immediately pulled out his revolver and loaded it. "Stop with your sarcastic tone." He then aimed it at me viciously. "Don't toast to me if you can't take the punishment." He was about to pull the trigger, but the hand holding the gun strangely moved away from his body. Before he could scream out, he was grabbed by the neck by the vengeful ghost chasing from behind. "It's people like you, scum, always calling someone a friend, always calling someone a brother, and then suddenly turning on them." Seeing this, I, who wanted to use someone to kill, jumped out. "Hey, big sister, can you release my friend?" Even the evil spirit was laughing at me. "He was just trying to harm you. Why do you still want to save him? Is this ghost stupid? Head is so big yet." But she couldn't even tell it was sarcasm. Then I let it. "It's fine this way. I'll just tease her more. That way there will be more spooky atmosphere." At this moment, I spoke with righteousness, although he just tried to harm me. But in the end, he's our team leader too. "My friend, if you dare to touch him, I won't be polite to you." "Damn it. Just shut up, will you? You want to get me killed?" "Angry ghost. I'll kill him right now. Let's see what you can do to me." After saying that, he pressed Kunzi's face with the. He slammed it against the rocks. Once was enough. He slammed it several more times. I watched from the side. It was painful to see. "This is too miserable. Why are you so angry?" Then the vengeful spirit grabbed Kunzi Dao, whose face had been completely disfigured. "Didn't you say that once I dealt with him, he wouldn't hold back? Let me see just how much you won't hold back." "But you didn't kill him. He's still gasping for breath." Ding. The vengeful ghost underestimated me. Ghost Guy 190. "Good. Then I'll kill him now. Let's see what you can do to me." Having said that, he turned towards Kunzi in his hand and unleashed a wave of ghost ki. I saw his magic insect fall from his person. My plan worked. "Then I can kill you." Then I rushed towards the vengeful ghost, and I called out her name. "Beiling." The vengeful ghost was immediately enraged upon hearing it. "Damn it. You dare shout my name? My speed is clearly faster than the ghost's." I was in front of the ghost in an instant. I saw the ghost's face take a solid punch from me. Then I gave his big head another punch, right in the middle of his forehead. But the result? It hurts so much that I'm gritting my teeth. What the hell is this? Was this guy from the Shaolin Temple in his past life? So tough. At this point, the vengeful spirit reacts. It immediately lunges at me, plans to headbutt me. This vengeful spirit is like a bull. Continuous collisions. I dodged them all until it slammed straight into the mountain, but in the next second, I was directly knocked out of the mountain by the evil spirit. It hit my lower back and sent me flying. Luckily, I often trained my waist next door. Otherwise, I would be done for with just this. This made me so angry that I immediately activated my demon overlord form. The next second, I retaliated using their own methods. Our two heads collided instantly. Damn. Why has your head suddenly become so hard? Then the evil spirit felt a buzzing in its head. My head is still a little dizzy. Seeing this, I immediately stepped forward. I touched its head and said with concern, "It's probably your brain that's damaged. Let me fix it for you." After saying that, I immediately lifted it up with force. I directly pulled out its brain. Then I looked at the brain in my hand and said dejectedly, "I don't think I can fix your brain either. Sorry. Let me press it back for you." The vengeful spirit heard this. It immediately started cursing. "What the hell is wrong with you? Do you have a serious illness? This damn ghost is playing with its brain." Before the vengeful ghost finished cursing, I kicked it away. Sure enough, vengeful ghosts are different. It could still move even without a head. Then I threw its head behind me. The scene shifted to the school. Chen Xiu and Yang Chan, having recovered after contacting the underworld, planned to go to the grove to find Jiang Chen. But halfway through, we noticed that the plane from the underworld had arrived. Two people jumped down from above. One of them, a woman for some reason, misstepped. She then summoned a monster hand with an eye, which caught her. With the help of the monster hand, she safely landed. As soon as she landed, she asked the nearest Yang Chan, "Where is the vengeful spirit?" Yang Chan pointed to the small forest. "Over there?" Then she followed the underworld team and flew to the forest to search. While searching with the underworld team, Chen Xiu discovered the woman who was stepping on empty space. She was covered in wounds. They probably just went through a tough battle and rushed over here, but now they have to deal with a vengeful spirit. Is that okay? The small forest is that big. They found me quickly. Then Chen Xiu and Suli looked in surprise at the nearly lifeless vengeful spirit. It seems I was worried for nothing. At this moment, I was only focused on killing the vengeful spirit. I hadn't even gotten the ghost energy yet. Don't let the underworld steal the credit. Instantly, right in front of the underworld officials, I struck the vengeful spirit with a palm thunder, battling vengeful spirit. Ghost energy 555. I heard the system notification. Only did I feel relieved. Yulei recognized. He asked doubtfully, "It's you again. Or exactly? You were actually able to kill a fierce ghost?" Upon hearing that, I retorted, "That doesn't seem to be within the scope of your underworld's inquiries, does it?" The team member next to me saw my attitude and immediately wanted to cause trouble. But Xile shut him down. She said sharply, "This is none of your business. Go investigate the scene. Confirm the cause of death for the victims, then return the bodies to their families." The team member snorted coldly and walked toward me. He deliberately bumped into my shoulder, still on my shoulder, left some strange stuff. That instantly pissed me off. Watch it, blind as so grown up, can't even walk properly. Still want to scold me. I suddenly noticed the strange liquid on my shoulder was actually wriggling. Then it turned into a female ghost and humped. Seeing this, I immediately mocked, "Hey, are you a male ghost or a female ghost? Why so flat?" The female ghost immediately became enraged after hearing that. She crouched down in anger. Ghost energy need. Then she immediately began to grow larger. She pressed down on me. And now, is it still? This ghost is not cute at all. It's not my type. Then I threatened, "I advise you to come down, or else you'll face the consequences." At this time, Sule stepped forward to mediate. "Stop everyone. Goodbye back." Then she disappeared. "I'm sorry. My subordinate just returned from a mission. He's a little tired. The demonic energy within him is somewhat uncontrollable, and it's getting worse. Help me wipe the dirt off him." Seeing this, I couldn't help but recall the last time. At the mountain villa, one touch released 500 demonic energies. I immediately set my sights on Xule, and I stuck out my cute tongue to lick Suli's jade-like hand. Such a beautiful sis. Her scent must be strawberry flavored. This made Suli instantly shy and pull her hand back. "Hey, why are you so disgusting?" Then she wildly shook off the saliva from her hand. "I'm not here to fight you. Let's talk business now."